What's going on, fellow A-Plusers? It's your boy, Adam Perez. Welcome back to a brand new live episode of A-Plus Hero Report, your weekly stop for your Marvel, DC, television, and movie news streaming live for you guys here today. Happy Father's Day to one and all. We got 6 incredible topics we're going to be diving into for you guys today. A ton of DCU stuff, a little bit of MCU stuff, and a lot more for you guys to enjoy. We got honorable mentions, your live viewer questions at the end of the show. So sit back, relax, grab your coffee, and start your Father's Day off right. We'll see you guys on the other side. Welcome, one and all, to a brand new episode of A-Plus Hero Report, streaming live for you guys here today. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're certainly watching us from. It's your host, Adam Perez, joined none other than by my co-host, Stuart Branscombe, in the house today. I think you're on mute, buddy, but how are you doing today, man? You doing all right?
Yeah, doing good. Still trying to wake up. Got my coffee for that. But other than that, yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Same with you. I got my morning coffee here today. Every Sunday before we start, this is like a ritual for me now. I got to get me and my girlfriend some coffee to start our day off right. Give me some energy going. I used to get hot coffee, but now I've switched to iced coffee, at least for the show, just because we talk so much on here that by the time I get to sip my coffee again, if it's hot, it's like lukewarm and then it's cold again. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to have iced coffee the entire show.
That's smart, because I do end up having that problem too, where my coffee gets like kind of cold and then suddenly it's not as good. But yeah, I guess if you do something that's already meant to be cold, it doesn't really matter too much. For me,
it saves so much of my problems, man.
Yeah, for me, it's like I just prefer, if I'm drinking just straight black coffee, I prefer that to be hot. But anytime I drink a sweetened coffee, I usually prefer those to be with some exceptions. But most coffees with flavor, it's like, nah, I want that iced.
You drink straight black coffee? People like you still exist, bro?
Oh yeah.
Just kidding. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I've tried before. It don't work for me. I need like flavor. I need flavor.
Mm-hmm. What, dirt flavor isn't enough for you?
Nope, it's not. It's not. No. But it's good to see you, buddy. I'm glad you're having a good day. I have not seen any movies this week, and have you? Have you checked out anything yet?
Oh yeah, I did watch Toy Story 5, and I assume that's going to be the movie we talk about tomorrow.
It can be, yeah. I don't know what the plans are for today for Father's Day. Maybe I can slip in one movie today. I kind of wanted to watch Toy Story 4 before diving into Toy Story 5, but
wait, have you not seen it?
I have not seen Toy Story 4. No.
Okay.
I'm wondering if I can get by without having seen Toy Story 4, if I can just dive into Toy Story 5. But I was curious. I was trying to figure that out, and then I kind of want to see that Death of Robin Hood movie by Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
It's just because it's Hugh Jackman, and I do love Robin Hood stories. So I don't know. It's like one or the other. I can't see both of them before we do tomorrow's show. So I definitely have to choose which one I gotta see. But I'll keep you posted in regards to what I decide.
We could do it like you see Robin Hood and do your review of Robin Hood, and then I'll do mine of Toy Story.
Toy Story 5.
Yeah. I think like for Robin Hood, I'll keep mine spoiler free, just because I feel like I don't want to spoil it for you.
Did you see Robin Hood?
No, not yet. But for Robin Hood, I wouldn't mind spoilers because I already got the idea of what the premise is about. Okay. So I don't think there's really anything like in that movie that you can really spoil, because they already kind of tell you everything you need to know in the trailer. But I will say this, that movie looks really good, but I'm also like, why would you make a movie where Robin Hood's the villain right now? Like any other time period in America would be better than now. Just that feels like a weird, so that when I first saw that movie, I was just kind of like, I don't like this. But then I saw the trailer and I'm like, okay, that actually looks really good.
Yeah, I am interested to see what it's I will one in the chat says old man Robin Hood. Yeah, those are definitely the vibes I'm getting. I love Hugh Jackman too, so I want to give it a shot. I've heard mixed reviews or mixed things about it, but we'll see how it is. But yeah, we can do that tomorrow. I can review. Well, again, we'll see what happens tonight, or later on today. Maybe I'll try and catch a late night movie if I can, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted, Stuart. Okay.
Sounds good.
But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for certainly joining our show here today. We definitely appreciate you. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are certainly out there, especially if you're watching today's show. This one is definitely for you guys. So we certainly appreciate you guys continuing to join us on a weekly basis. Look, guys, remember, at the end of the day, as we go through these topics, these are simply our A+ opinions. We always want to know yours, though. So if you're joining us in the live chat, feel free to chime in during the live chat. We love bringing up your comments and talking with you guys, conversing and discussing some of the topics back and forth with you guys. So we definitely appreciate it, or even your thoughts in the comment section box below after this video winds up airing. But to show you guys that we love to support you guys when you show up, throwing up your live comments, let's go ahead and dive in real quick and give some praise and shout out to people that are joining us today. We got Ricky Perez in the house. Hey, Adam, just saw a sneak peek clip at Minions 3, Minions and Monsters, at a scene of a Cyclops. Ooh, interesting. It's also confirmed that the Dr. Seuss Grinch live action movie is getting a sequel by Jim Carrey. Interesting. Also saw Toy Story 5 and it was amazing. Yeah, I'm hearing I haven't actually heard too many reactions in regards to Toy Story, but the ones that I have heard have been really, really impressed with it. Paramount Animation is developing a Survivor movie with all animal cast. Okay. Also, the Proud Family Louder and Prouder is getting the final season and stop motion Christmas special. It will be releasing on Disney in July. I do love stop motion, Stuart. What else we got? Finally, just saw the official teaser trailer. Oh, I think you're muted. Are you muted? Yeah, I think you're muted.
Oh, I am. My bad. Yeah. Now I haven't seen the new Proud Family show, but I did used to watch the original, like on Disney back in the day. So I might check this out.
Let me see. Peg C's in the house. What's up, Peg C? Appreciate you coming through today. Kiki and Luca, as always, certainly coming through. We appreciate you. Just watched the Pexy says just watched the teaser trailer for the next series after Super Space Sheriff Gavin, in the Project Red series called Kakusei Hunter Omega Horn. It looks really cool. So I'm kind of so are we not getting the season 2 of Super Space Sheriff Gavin? Is it like you get this series and then we have a new series right after that? Or will we get a season 2 and this new project show is going to be like running parallel to it? I'm kind of curious as to how that's working out. It says Toei is going with the 25 episode model instead of doing 50 episodes. Thank God.
Okay.
Look, don't get me wrong. I used to love me some 50 episode Sentai seasons. But once I hit like my late 30s and my early 40s, I'm like, nah, please. I can't keep track of a Sentai series that long. Like I would always fall off at some point in time. But I do know other shows. I think Ultraman is like 25 episodes or something like that. And I loved it. I love that model. So I'm sure some people will have their pushback against it, but I kind of dig that, Stuart.
I have the trailer up for it if we want to play it after we check out the comments.
Yeah, like keep it up. Once we're done with the comments, we'll look into it. If you want to check it out for yourself, just look up. Okay, so all right, appreciate it, Peg C. I'm more of a cold brew kind of person. Okay, all right, appreciate you coming through with your coffee take, Peg C. Who else we got? We got I Will One says just watched the latest episode of Gavin Infinity. Finally got what I wanted with Luminous. Very cool. Nathan says that might be the Netflix effect, Adam. It might be. I might be. You know, I am curious if he means the Netflix effect because like it's affected my ability to watch that many episodes, or if it's the idea that like other production companies are now like taking the Netflix model. It might be a little bit of both, Nathan,
or both. Yeah,
it might be. It might be a little
yes.
It might be a little bit of both, but yeah, for sure, it's definitely watered down my my mental capacity to stick around for 50 episodes. There was a time when I was just like, yes, give me all the Super Sentai episodes I can stand, and eventually I'm just like, guys, we gotta wrap this season up. Like, so like, come on. But interesting. I'll be interested. I got to check out Space Gambit. I literally do. But I am kind of curious as to just seeing how this plays out. Like, is there not a season 2 anymore? Are we just diving into the new series, and it's just going to be new series after new series that maybe builds up to like a big crossover event or something like that? That'd be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah,
Or if even the storylines maybe carry over a little bit.
Yeah, I thought with the new Project Red, like, yeah, it meant they were gonna kind of commit to one series, but no, I think what it just means is that they're doing, from the sound of it, they're doing less episodes, which means each episode can have a bigger budget. I think that's what they're kind of going for. Is like, I want to say quality over quantity, but I guess that would be the right term to use, quality over quantity.
In this case, for sure. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comment section box below. Pexy says Omega Horn is an original idea. Very cool. But yeah, keep those comments coming, ladies and gentlemen, as we go through some of these honorable mentions along with our topics today. Feel free to continue to chime in, and we'll definitely continue to bring up your guys' comments. Also, if you want to help out the channel monetarily in order to help us grow, feel free to submit over some super chats if you'd like to today. If anything, again, we don't have any sponsors around here, so we really do grow with your guys' help. But if anything, if you can't help out monetarily because it's tight in them streets, we're literally living paycheck to paycheck, some of us around here. Helping out the channel goes a long way in regards to just liking the video, maybe sharing these videos, subscribing to the channel. All that takes you 1 second and is absolutely free. So we really appreciate you guys each and every week. But Stuart, with that out of the way, man, let's go ahead and kick our show off with our first segment of the day. And we got some honorable mentions for you guys today. If this is your first time watching the show, honorable mentions is simply just our portion of the show where we have topics that we felt you still deserve to know about, but just didn't quite make our top 6. So yeah, we'll try and fire through some of these as quickly as we can. But Stuart, I believe you've got yourself a oh, you know what? Since we're in honorable mentions, before you kick us off with your honorable mention, can you pull up that trailer that you mentioned that you had for us?
Let's do that.
Was this the Omega Horn trailer?
Yeah.
Okay. Tully, don't come after us, okay?
All right, we got it.
All right, let's see what this is about. Ooh. Whoa.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
Whoa. That's a dope design.
Yes. Yes.
Whoa. Okay. I mean, so it looks like several different beasts that maybe he's got control over. I wonder if like he's got different mega horns for each one. Now, when they said mega horn, I didn't know they literally meant like literal mega horn. I mean, I was like, at first I thought that was like a laser or like a weapon. I'm like, oh no, that's literally a megaphone. Like, that's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I like how this is almost like it looks like a completely different from what just came before with the new space sheriff Gavin. So it does seem like they're not really holding themselves to one specific, like where a Super Sentai, of course, is always just like they mostly follow the same format. It's like always a group of like 3 to 6 different people, and in one way or another, they become color-coded superheroes with the same aesthetic. But here, it kind of feels like they're just trying to make a tokusatsu that doesn't really follow a specific format anymore, and I kind of like that. So I think it just makes it so it's like you don't know what to expect now every season. So and I love the fact that we get a kaiju that isn't necessarily a Zord, or what I forgot what the generic term is for, or I guess mechs, or whatever the generic term would be for what they use in Super Sentai. But yeah, it looks really cool. I loved that we got what looks like, I'd say that the special effects for the giant monster were about as on par with Ultraman. Kind of impressive that they were able to get like a reflection in there without like showing any of the cameras, and also still being able to hide the wires. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like I don't remember like being able to see something like that in like kind of a TV tokusatsu before. Like obviously you see that in movies all the time, but it's so rare that you see that in like a TV show like this. So that was a pretty cool shot. Overall I think it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. It looks good. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to that for sure. It looks really great, really great. What's the honorable mention you got for us, Stuart? Also,
oh yeah, so did you ever hear about this movie? I think it came out the year 2000, called The Room, by Tommy Wiseau.
Oh yeah, it sounds familiar. Yeah, The Room.
It is a movie meant or known as like one of the worst movies, ever
right?
made. And they even had like this whole movie with James Franco.
James Franco did that, right? Like the making of it.
Yeah, before he got like super canceled. But like, that was back when he was still relevant. So he played Tommy Wiseau, and it was a story about them making the movie. So I actually kind of enjoyed the film, not gonna lie. But yeah, then there was, The Room from the 2000s, Tommy Wiseau, and it was it's entertaining, I think, and it was meant to be like a serious drama, but of course it was made by someone who just did not know how to make a film at the time, but he also had the money to make it look professional. And so when you blend the two worlds together, it looks absolutely hilarious. So here we have Bob Odenkirk doing a remake of The Room, and I think it's supposed to be like a shot for shot like remake, so everything's going to be the same, but they're flipping it a little bit, because instead of someone who doesn't know what he's doing here, we got a professional in the industry, Bob Odenkirk, and he's going to be trying to remake, or in this he's remaking The Room in one day, with I think he said no budget at all compared to The Room, which was a decent budget, and it was shot over the course of a year. So they're flipping it. No budget, professional in the industry, but also this is shot in one day. So this is a minute clip that was released. So I just thought it'd be kind of fun to share this.
Oh man, we're definitely going to get demonetized all day today. This is a demonetized show for sure.
There we go. Oh shit, sorry, I have the speed turned up, I think. Oh yeah, doubled. What the hell? There we go.
I like you very much, lover boy.
A dozen red roses, please.
You bitch! We got 5 fucking minutes!
You're a psychologist.
Tearing you apart, Lisa.
Why are you so hysterical?
Tell me about your problems, Johnny.
You're always playing the psychologist with us.
You tramp.
There's no baby.
What? What?
Why is this happening to me?
And I'm pretty sure we can't show this next part, so we'll stop it there. But yeah, so that's them basically remaking The Room shot for shot. One day, no budget. Looks absolutely hilarious to me. I love Bob Odenkirk, so I am definitely going to be checking this out when it's released.
Yeah, I had never. I don't think I've ever seen The Room before. So the idea of them doing it like shot for shot, I wouldn't even know what the shots are, to be honest with you. But I do appreciate Bob for sure. What a great performance. Kiki and Lucas says it's all good, man. It's all good, man.
All good, man.
Better
Call Saul is one of my all-time favorite shows, and this may be a hot take. I like Better Call Saul more than Breaking Bad. And that being said, I love Breaking Bad.
Then again, I I maybe have watched a couple episodes within the first season of Better Call Saul. I loved Breaking Bad in general, but I just the idea of a spinoff, I just like I don't really need a spinoff in my life. So I just never followed up with it. But I mean it stuck around for seasons, bro.
Mhm.
Like I was really impressed with how long it was around for. But that's cool. I appreciate you following that great gem, Stuart, for our honorable mentions today.
I think if it wasn't for the fact that Breaking Bad, that I had seen Breaking Bad before, I honestly don't think I would have stuck around with Better Call Saul since or after season one, because it's like season one wasn't really that entertaining, but there were some really clever seeds there that kept me intrigued. And plus, I knew that Vince Gilligan from Breaking Bad really knows how to keep you invested, and also knows how to kind of ramp things up. So I was intrigued enough to stick around. And then season two was just slightly better than season one. And then I think it was season three where suddenly, like, not only was I hooked, but I think that was when I had like a complete 180, and I'm like, okay, I think I like this more than Breaking Bad now.
Yeah, I don't know if I wonder if the girlfriend's ever watched. I think she used to watch Better Call Saul, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe one day I'll give it a shot. A couple other honorable mentions for you guys today. We got Fallout in the news. Mostly just because of the fact that I want to shout out Manny Jacinto, who played the Stranger in our favorite show of all time, Star Wars: The Acolyte, Stuart. Apparently, according to Deadline.com, Manny Jacinto, along with some others, Emily Mortimer and Thomasine McKenzie, have joined season's 3 cast of Prime Video's Fallout, an upcoming recurring role. Now, they also are going to be joining, and we may talk a little bit more about him later on today, Aaron Paul, who was also cast in season 3 of Fallout as well. So a lot of new faces certainly coming to the 3rd season for Fallout on Prime Video. But yeah, Aaron Paul is one of them. I think we might have, I don't remember if we talked about him joining last week or the previous week, but I definitely want to give out a shout out to Manny Jacinto, fresh off the Acolyte, now getting an opportunity to shine a little bit in Fallout. He was so great in, despite how people might feel about the Acolyte, I really thought Manny Jacinto as the Stranger was incredible in that particular role. So he will be joining the many faces of Fallout Season 3.
I wonder if they're
What else
gonna
we got?
have an excuse to have him take his shirt off, because that dude is ripped.
It would not surprise me. Would not surprise me. Speaking of, we got a further Star Wars connection here, as Mark Hamill is set to join Peacock's Twisted Metal for season 3. Mark Hamill is joining the recurring cast of Peacock's video game TV adaptation Twisted Metal for a 3rd season. He will play Pope Charlie Kane, the leader of the Eastern Sovereignty and estranged father of Sweet Tooth, believe it or not. So yeah, Mark Hamill will be joining season 3. I don't know if there's a release date yet or not for season 3. It just says, it says the plot for season 3 will be released at a later date, but I don't see a release schedule for Twisted Metal season 3. But yes, Mark Hamill will be joining the cast, Stuart. So yeah, a lot of Star Wars connections happening around here. We also talked a little bit about it last week, but I do want to reiterate for some of you guys. We did talk a little bit about Masters of the Universe last week, if you remember, Stuart, an idea of them possibly doing a sequel for Masters of the Universe. I believe one of the people over at Prime Video talked a little bit about the idea of like how pleased that they were with the reaction and reception for Masters of the Universe despite the box office. And we talked a little bit about the idea of how Amazon MGM's sort of format and how they do business, especially with them being not only a streaming service, but then also, being a delivery service for, Amazon Prime and things like that, that they might be doing things a little bit differently, or box office may not be so dependent for them. Well, this week, Forbes magazine, or Forbes.com, also released an article saying Masters of the Universe set for sequel despite dismal box office. The summary says Masters of the Universe underperformed at the box office, grossing only $89 million worldwide. Mind you, as of today, I believe Masters of the Universe has grossed $101 million. But despite this theatrical loss, Amazon MGM Studios is likely to greenlight a sequel due to its unique business model. The film is considered a crucial asset for Prime Video, targeting older fans. Amazon prioritizes filling genre gaps and attracting subscribers over individual film profitability, viewing box office as a critical first moment for broader engagement. The streaming strategy first is highlighted by the movie's direct-to-Prime release in France, bypassing theaters entirely. Ultimately, Amazon is playing a long game, using exclusive content like He-Man to bolster its platform and secure long-term subscriber growth. So it does talk a little bit about the idea that there's more at play here when it comes to Masters of the Universe, and that their investment is much more long-term than just what the box office certainly seems to be, which is one is encouraging to kind of hear for somebody that was a big fan of Masters of the Universe. I've seen it twice now. I certainly liked it just as much as I did the first time that I watched it, but if anything, it does make me also wonder, like, why this is something that Amazon MGM can get away with, but other places like Disney or Paramount, places that have streaming services, why they aren't tapping into something like that. I mean, maybe they are, but Amazon seems to be a little bit more vocal about it, because it seems like with any other company, if something flops at the box office, they just give up on it entirely. But this seems very much like the fact that Masters of the Universe, to me, Stuart, is still to this day marketing this movie. Like, I still see like behind the scenes social media clips all over the place, like new stuff constantly being pushed by their social media team. And so it does feel like there is a long game here. Not only did they start this marketing for the theaters, but they continue to ramp it up for its eventual Prime release. And I think that's what they're really, really hoping for here.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I guess they're just not afraid of like losing. I guess they're just more patient than Disney, because I think like one thing I've noticed, like, with Disney ever since, man, I want to say that this has been a thing since like 2020, ever since they took the massive dive during COVID, like, everyone else. Disney seems to react a lot faster and not
very
really
reactionary.
Yeah, and I think Amazon, I don't know if it's like that they're just now realizing it or they've realized it for a while, but Amazon is kind of coming to this conclusion of, hey, the long game's still a thing. We can still do that. So I think that's, where their mindset is. I think they are smart enough to be patient. And I hate complimenting Amazon, because obviously like with most studios, I do hate them as like businesses. I do hate a lot of Amazon's business practices, but I will compliment them for this one in particular, mostly because I am glad that they didn't use this as, maybe they will later in the future, who knows, but I'm glad that in that article they didn't try to use that as an excuse of so the next time we do a Masters of the Universe movie, it'll go straight to our streaming service. I hope they can still make these kind of movies that are, their long game is streaming, but they don't mind taking a loss in theaters while waiting to get there. That's something I would be like kind of I'd be pretty happy to see, especially if Disney started doing that with their movies that are like specifically made for Disney Plus. If they could just release them in theaters for a short time and not worry about like a small loss, if they're meant, if their bigger end goal is profit, like, in the long run. I think so. Sorry, long story.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, I think a great example of that would have been like Mandalorian and Grogu, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they really have stopped all type of marketing for the movie, whereas Masters of the Universe just continues with a marketing campaign, like just maybe the bigger payoff for somebody like Disney would be when Mando and Grogu drops on streaming. Like I would be kind of curious to see like what Disney would do numbers wise with that type of thing,
Definitely.
Guys, interesting stuff there. Other honorable mention for you guys, X-Men 97 is back in the news. Stuart, we have our first official episode titles and synopsis for X-Men 97 season 2. Let me go ahead and bring these up real quick. We can explore these together. Here we go. make this a little larger. There we go. Okay. So episode number 1's titled Days of Past Future. Forge and Bishop launch an ambitious plan to rescue the X-Men who have been scattered through time. Episode 2, titled A Force to Be Reckoned With. After D-Day, a secret paramilitary force emerges to try and fill the void left by the X-Men. I wonder if that's X-Factor. I wonder if that's Team X-Factor there. Episode 3, Rise of Apocalypse, Part 1. The plan to rescue the team from ancient Egypt is turned upside down by an unexpected visit. Then you've got Part 2 of Rise of the Apocalypse for Episode 4. An alliance between the X-Men and En Sabah Nur begins to crumble when Rama Tut seeks supreme power. So we got Rama Tut in here. Episode 5, Weapons X, Lies, and DVDs. Wolverine, Morph, and an unlikely group of former rivals face the latest Weapon X experiment. Ooh, I hope that's like Omega Red. That would be pretty dope. Episode 6, Danger X. And X-Man Polaris returns to Xavier Mansions just as a new threat emerges on campus. Episode 7, Strange Land, Savage Heart. The X-Men travel to Savage Land and surprised to encounter a familiar face. Episode 8, The Dead Man's Hand. The X-Men confront a ghost from their past. Ooh, I wonder if that's Gambit or somebody else. And then 9, Survival of the Fittest. The X-Men are pushed to their limit when their past comes back to haunt them. There's going to be a 3-episode premiere on July 1st. That's going to be right around the corner. Holy shit. Yeah, so 3-episode premiere on July 1st. It might be time for a season 1 rewatch to it at this point in time. But yeah, those are some of the episodes, titles, and synopsis. Anything jumping out at you, Stuart? That sounds good.
I mean, it all sounds really cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited for the final episode of the season. Never mind. I take that back. I was about to say I kind of wish they didn't give us episode descriptions this early, but the more I think about it, the more it's just like they're vague enough to where it doesn't really spoil anything. I also do like the name with,
I'm taking shots at the dark with some of these predictions or things that, I think they're hinting at, but you never know.
Yeah, I do like the title for the first one. There was a brief moment where I'm like, wait, why didn't they call it Days of Future Past? But then I remembered, oh, wait, the original X-Men series already did that.
But yeah, those are some of the... I am interested in the fact that there's a 3-episode drop, but that 3-episode drop ends with Rise of Apocalypse Part 1. So then you got to wait a whole entire week for Rise of Apocalypse Part 2. Just a weird place to drop off at. But
they definitely did that on purpose.
Yeah, they probably did. I do wonder from like a storytelling purpose if it's like that. It does make me wonder if they first 3 episodes premiere on July 1st. I wonder if they're going to start we'll drop them weekly after that, or if it's going to be 3-episode drops the entire time. We'll have to find out and wait and see. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts in regards to some of those synopsises. And then last but not least, Stuart, we got first reactions to Supergirl. Supergirl is out. Well, not yet. Supergirl will be out this upcoming week, though, releasing on the 26th, if I'm not mistaken. If you haven't gotten your tickets, go ahead and do so. But we do have some early reactions to Supergirl that are, in fact, dropping. And, look, I'm not a big first reactions type guy, but I don't know. I felt for Supergirl, maybe this is something that we'll do, talking about what people are saying early on. I just hate doing this sometimes because I don't want to give anybody the notion to go see a movie or to not go see a movie. I don't want to influence your decision if you do or not. And that's one of the reasons why we don't really highlight first reactions around here too much. But why not? Let's see what they give us here. Let's see here. So Supergirl is not at all what I was expecting. I too assumed superhero space movie with needle drops would have a similar tone to Guardians of the Galaxy or even Superman. Instead, it looks and plays more like a Mad Max movie with dirty worlds, gross villains, and a self-destructive hero. That's from Mike Ryan. Jermaine Lucer says Supergirl is highly enjoyable. It doesn't quite have the resonance of Superman, but it acts as both a perfect companion and a follow-up to that movie with better characters and more complex relationships. It's also incredibly emotional, which makes the action hit even harder. Rachel Leishman says, Supergirl is everything I wanted it to be. Girls can be messy, and that rules. Kara isn't her cousin, and I really love how this movie makes that clear. She's a different kind of hero and perfect in every way. Chris Killian says, if you threw Guardians of the Galaxy, True Grit, and Mad Max into a DC blender, you'd get Supergirl. A grimy, funny, yet unsurprisingly somber space adventure. Millie shines, especially when we get into Kara's tragic backstory, but Jason Momoa is having a fragging time of his life as Lobo. So that's like the second Mad Max reference that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact
Tessa
same thing.
Smith. Okay. Yeah, like I haven't read any of these, by the way. This is my first time reading all these. Unfortunately, Supergirl is a mixed bag for me, says Tessa. As a fan of the comic, I was perhaps overly excited for the film adaptation. While Jason Momoa's Lobo and Millie Alcock shine, some adaptation choices and a bland villain keep it from greatness. It's simply put, just fine. That's what Tessa says. Simon says Supergirl isn't a classic, but it's a pacey fun and hits most of the targets it aims for. Millie Alcock is great as the main heroine, and Lobo is a blast. Other big wins are the action, humor, and when it leans into physical production and costume designs are a thumbs up. So that's one. Let me pop in. I think I got Deadline, got some reactions too. Although I just want to make sure I also don't repeat some of the ones that we've just kind of talked about also. So let me bring up one more set of reactions, and then we'll get into our main topics. This one is from Deadline. Let's see here. We already did Tessa Smith. Eric Davis compared Supergirl to a mix of the underdog rock and roll attitude of Guardians of the Galaxy and Mad Max's grimy ruthlessness. So another Guardians of the Galaxy and Mad Max references here. It's a film about fighting those who show up for us, and as cliche as it sounds, it also reinforces the idea that home is where the heart is. Nerd Reactor said that Supergirl felt bland, and I left wishing she had been given stronger material to show on what she can really do. Total Films on Supergirl says, is the film I wish I had as a teenager who loved superhero movies. Millie Alcock is perfect, bringing humor, heart, and incredible drunk acting. Really love Craig Gillespie's vision of this world. Mad Max vibes for sure, but Supergirl is something all of its own. And then lastly, Fico Cangiano said Supergirl is a solid follow-up to last summer's Superman, more serious and emotionally heavier in tone. It delivers a cool intergalactic road trip that evokes Guardians of the Galaxy with the dash of Mad Max and a bit of Thor: The Dark World. Oh no. Oh no, not the Thor Dark World reference for Supergirl. No. And we'll end on that note.
Yeah,
but a lot of Mad Max references and Guardians references. So yeah, it look. I definitely feel like it's certainly a mixed bag of things, but for some of the positives, I'm liking what I'm hearing so far from the positives. I think a lot of the blandness seemingly is coming from some of the villain aspects of things. But we'll see what it looks like when it's when it drops. Nathan says, I think it looks better than Superman. So, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have been one of those people around here that said it would not surprise me if I think Supergirl ends up being a better film than Superman. I don't know how it's gonna feel overall, but I feel like maybe from a character and complexity, maybe from an emotional side, maybe it certainly might be, but it's definitely a wait and see for sure. But it does feel like a little bit of a mixed bag, but a lot of more positives, I think, coming out for Supergirl than negatives.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't want it to be all positives because then it would just feel fake. So I'm kind of glad that there's some mixed ones in there. I do love the Mad Max comparisons that people are making. That gets me really excited for this movie because I love me some Mad Max.
Yeah, you really do. I know you love that world. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts. We've got A couple of great topics that we're going to be diving into for you guys today. I know that trust me when I say, I'm sure I've seen a lot of other sort of negative reviews about Supergirl, but they seem to be coming from a, very misogynistic place, Stuart, in regards to some of the slander that we're kind of getting. It feels like the DCEU Snyder Bros are out and about for this one,
Yeah.
trying to drag this movie down already. I'm sure there's definitely some fair criticisms, and that's why I wanted to show some of the fair criticism early reactions so you guys get an idea of what it is that are people saying, and not necessarily overwhelmed by some of the other type of slander that's kind of out there right now. But I
think
definitely
like
film I'm still looking forward to seeing.
I think like it's really annoying when you get like the especially like the YouTubers who will basically tell you right away that this movie's going to suck before the movie's even out, and then of course they go into the movie with that mindset of knowing like they're gonna hate the movie. Which I'm just saying, man, when you go into a mindset knowing that you're going to hate something, you are going to leave that thing with that same feeling. And so it's always annoying when I see that kind of content on YouTube and shit.
Yeah,
Sorry, my brain's still waking up.
No, you're good. You're good. I feel the same way. I was there's not a lot of nuance on Twitter and social media these days in regards to movie mindsets. Movies are very much like trash or great. There's never like an in between anymore for some people. And so the idea of already kind of going into a movie with that mindset of hating something, it makes it harder to value people's opinions in those regards. Like I definitely I always, you have to go into a movie just open-minded, whatever your own personal expectations are for a movie. When you go in, you gotta leave that stuff on the back seat and just go in there with an open mind and see if the movie if you walk out enjoying it or not. So we definitely need to put our own self expectations aside of what we want or need a movie to be when we go and check out some of these films.
Exactly.
But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. And with that, Stuart, I think it is time for us to dive into some main topics. You ready to get into these with me, man?
Always.
Let's do it. We got some incredible topics for you guys today. Here's three right off the bat. We got My Adventures with Green Lantern in the news this week. Had a great drop from Entertainment Weekly that talks about Jessica Cruz. She's also just made her appearance on season 2 of My Adventures with Superman. We're going to play the clip for you here, and some new details that are beginning to emerge for this upcoming animated series. We also got news from the Lord of the Rings camp. The Hunt for Gollum has a massive casting announcement we're going to be diving into, and then we also had a huge trailer that wind up dropping from Spider-Man Brand New Day that we're going to be talking about and showing you guys a little bit later. But let's go ahead and kick off this show, Stuart, with My Adventures with Green Lantern. It seems like DC Animation in some way, shape, or form is creating another shared universe here, this time in the animated front. We already have My Adventures with Superman currently out, season 2. Oh, is it season 2 or season 3 that's out right now? I think it's season 3, right, Stuart?
3.
Yeah, season 3 just started, and we wind up getting our very first look at Jessica Cruz, the Green Lantern, in this upcoming season. Entertainment Weekly had some new exclusive images and a reveal as to who the main actress is. But before we get into that, Stuart, I do want to go ahead and highlight a brand new clip. If you guys have not had the opportunity to see the new Jessica Jones in My Adventures, Jessica Cruz, in the new My Adventures with Superman season 3, let me go ahead and bring this up here for you guys. First off, let me make sure I got the volume up so you guys can hear along with this. There it is. Okay, here we go. This is only 46 seconds, but this is Jessica Cruz making her debut.
What exactly do you bring to the table, Supergirl?
I think...
That That person has something to say. You, with the hand. Speak!
Supergirl's special because she's brave. You are a warrior. I like how Superman protects us, but I love how you fight for us. I wish I was as brave as you.
Adorable. What's your name, Mousy,
Mousy
girl?
girl.
I'm Jessica. Jessica Cruz.
Thank you, Jessica.
What's your name, Mousy girl? I've never heard anybody described as mousy before. That's kind of insulting if you ask me. But that's Jessica Cruz making her debut. I am kind of curious if she'll pop up more in this show for this season, as to whether or not this is the show where she acquires her Green Lantern ring, or if they will introduce her here, but then kick off her getting her ring once My Adventures with Green Lantern wind up dropping. But have you been watching this season at all, Stuart?
No, I totally missed the premiere. There are 2 episodes in, but I definitely want to catch up on this because I've been really enjoying the show so far.
Yeah, I know you've been a really big fan of what they've been able to do the first 2 seasons, but we'll see how season 3 comes along. But let me go ahead and bring up this article from Entertainment Weekly that talks a little bit about the series itself, and also gives us the casting announcement that the Moana star Oli Cravalho, if I'm pronouncing that right, I apologize if I butcher the name, is playing Jessica Cruz, and she will headline the Green Lantern. Is she the one that actually voiced Moana in the television series, in the movie? Cravalho, Ollie Cravalho. And while you look that up, I'm going to go ahead and continue here. The Moana star will make her debut as the voice of Jessica Cruz in episode 2 of this season's animated series, and then later star in My Adventures with Green Lantern. The character is notable in DC Comics as the first human female to serve in the Green Lantern Corps, but in the context of Superman season 3, she's just a high school teen. It also says they say we'd already planned for a second episode to showcase how Supergirl in particular was changing their world. We wanted to look at how differently people had very different reactions to the same Kryptonian. Jake Watt, a showrunner on both My Adventures with Superman and Green Lantern, tells Entertainment Weekly. So when word came down from the brass that Green Lantern was greenlit, we wanted to pre-Lantern Jessica Cruz to give us a girl on the street view of Supergirl. How would a shy, relatively powerless teenager see this powerful young superwoman out there changing the world? And what would it be like for Supergirl to see herself through Jess's eyes? Cravalho, who notably played Janice in the Mean Girls movie musical, has been working steadily in the voiceover world, on top of reprising her role in Disney's Moana 2 and executive producing the live-action remake. The actress also gave standout characters to Mighty Nin and Zootopia 2 and Krapopolis. I've never heard of that before. Casting brought us a lot of fantastic reads for Jessica, but when I heard Ali, there was this complexity of emotion to her read, a natural, almost oblivious charm that she brought to Jess, and I knew she was the one, is what Wyatt writes. But I hadn't even looked at the name and just ran out of my office like, have y'all heard this take? Then everybody told me who it was and that she was already a princess, how she'd done brilliant work with Karen on a previous show, and that was that. Let me see. Just Green Lantern will see what happens when a power ring falls from the sky and chooses the shy and kind-hearted high school student Jessica Cruz to be its new champion, according to the official plot description. Things get even worse when more debris from the Lantern's ancient space war arrives, along with their alien foes. To protect Earth, Jess will have to overcome fears, anxiety, and your typical teenage drama to lead a new Lantern Corps against a terrifying foe. Interesting. So to lead a new Lantern Corps. All right, so it sounds like she may not be the only Earth-based Lantern that we eventually see, or maybe new Lantern stars to kind of highlight. But yeah, it looks like maybe a potential new Lantern Corps might be brewing out of this My Adventures with Green Lantern series.
Yeah, it's really cool that
yeah.
this new universe is really taking a lot of like, I don't want to say like drastic changes, but definitely a lot of creative liberties with the with its version of the DC lore. I noticed, like, at the end of the article, go back down, the last paragraph, because I think they even mentioned, like, yeah, it very much takes a kind of anime approach. While Superman was inspired by Dragon Ball Z,
Oh.
Lanterns is very part of the same Toonami block. Sorry, it's slightly blurry. It'll be clear
Oh, no problem.
once starts dropping what part of the Toonami block inspired Green Lanterns, or not subtle people. That's funny. But yeah, no, that's something that I would agree with. Like, looking back at My Adventures with Superman very much gives it a kind of anime aesthetic to the DC universe. In fact, like the most recent episode, I saw the little clip for where they have Toyman, but like, and this very much feels like a great way to take the character, especially if you're going to go for an anime aesthetic. But like, his actual like suit design looks very similar to like kind of a Mobile Suit Gundam. So it yeah, and I think even Marcelino in our comments is saying, yeah, the My Adventures with Superman series takes inspiration from anime, with Superman being Dragon Ball and Green Lanterns being Sailor Moon. Okay, that would make a lot of sense, actually.
That sounds kind of dope, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, dude, does that mean she's gonna get like a magical girl transformation when she puts on the Green Lantern suit?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, and it's got to be the same
wait.
animation every time, so the animators can save money.
Yo, I cannot wait.
Oh,
I
man,
cannot wait for that. That's gonna be great. We also have the showrunners talking a little bit more about the series itself. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. Sorry, we're this is DC Studio Superman spinoff TV show gets official release date following Major Heroes debut. First off, I hate that they're using David Cornsweet here for Superman. Like, just put up the My Adventures with Superman character. Why they got to use David Cornsweet? It says in My Adventures with Superman season 3 episode 2, Mobile Suit Toyman, there you go, Stuart, Jessica Cruz was officially introduced. The showrunners shared the following update in regards to the series, saying it's still in production. We still are not sure when it's coming out. We've got to figure out how the show is going to be distributed. We're in production, we're making it, and we're not in danger of being done before we have distribution. We also need to lock down the best way in the world of Warner Brothers, Paramount, Skydance for the show to release in 2028, 2027, or whenever it is that it comes out. While viewers got to meet Jessica this week, to see Supergirl at her panel, the showrunner duo also chimed in as to whether or not the show will see Simon Baz, another Green Lantern, appear in her series, as they share a core dynamic in the comics. However, they confirm that Simon won't show up in season 1, but that doesn't mean he couldn't appear later. They say Simon won't be in season 1, and I'm comfortable saying that. His adventure is so specific to him, you know what I mean? I think about it, but he's very much the main character of his adventure, and you can only fit so much main character into 10 episodes at a time. Right now we're doing Jessica's story, but if we get more seasons, who knows? So they do tease the idea of Simon Baz eventually, but the fact that he might be his own main character in and of itself. The co-showrunner shared how Cravallo auditioned for the role and their reaction to discovering the Disney actress. She says, yeah, that's our next Adventureverse show. Adventureverse works for me. Funny story, I legitimately didn't know who it was when we heard the take. I didn't know it was Cravallo, and I probably wouldn't have known if I hadn't played it for other people. I played it for my wife, and she was like, that's a Disney star. And I was like, no, this is another character we're trying to cast. So they do talk a little bit about having to cast her in here.
It also
I
gets
think
me
that might
more
be all
excited that it was
the
clearly based on her
comments
talent and
that
not
we got. Yeah.
because like, oh, a name brand.
Right? Yeah, no, that definitely does go a long way, for sure, in the sense that they definitely just picked her up based off of what she's capable of. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this. You know, I'm glad that they kind of brought up the idea of like, while the show is in production, we don't really have a clear path yet in regards to when this show is going to be coming out. The idea that they hinted at the Warner Brothers and Paramount stuff, like, might make things a little bit tricky. And I think we've kind of talked about it before, right? The idea that like past 2027 or 2028, I feel like things are just kind of up in the air. And I am kind of curious if Warner Brothers just continues to go forward with production of things, despite what Warner Brothers and Paramount, you know, are trying to do in regards to this merger. So while I do think we would get a season 1 of My Adventures with Green Lantern, you can tell that maybe even those showrunners in them are really kind of uncertain as to what the future certainly might hold for the show and other characters in that regard. So it's definitely something to pay close attention to, I think.
Yeah, definitely. That's what's so funny is I have no idea what I'm glad these shows and movies are being made while they can. But like, yeah, after 2028, 2029, I have no idea what the future of all of it is going to look like.
Yeah, me either. And I do like the idea of Simon, like the idea they say My Adventures with Green Lantern, you know, them bringing up Simon Baz is an interesting one to me because this series definitely feels very much like a Jessica Cruz led one. But the article also hints at a new Lantern Corps. So even though if Simon Baz doesn't get introduced into season 1, I do wonder if it's something that you introduce him into a season 2. But they also talked about him having sort of like main character presence. And so I am kind of curious if My Adventures with Green Lantern will only focus on Jessica Cruz, or if like a season 2 or maybe even a season 3 would take a different turn of its focus and start focusing on a different lantern at any particular point in time. Because it just wouldn't make sense to me to have Simon Baz as like, oh, we're going to release another Green Lantern series. I do think you have to find a way to kind of make Simon work within this particular series as well. So I am going to be interested to see if we ever get to that point, how they would execute that, considering the fact that I felt like Jessica and Simon debuted nearly at the same time, almost like they always felt like a duo to me in that regards. So I would be kind of curious as to how they would execute something like that, but it seems like it's something they're thinking about.
I know that for me, I was introduced to both of them at the same time during like the DC Rebirth in 2016.
Yeah, me too.
Because that was when you had two Green Lantern lines that were out. One of them was the one with Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz, and what's it called? Yeah, I think it was called Green Lantern Corps, and then Hal Jordan's was just Green Lantern, or it might be the opposite. But yeah, I remember like those comics were cool because it was like kind of a buddy cop series.
Yeah, that's what I really enjoyed about them. But you know, with her being like this young high schooler, you know, I think was Simon like a police officer? Was he a cop, or was he a criminal? I can't remember what it was, what Simon Baz was when he was first chosen by the Lantern Corps or by the Lantern Ring. But I would be interested to see how he would even play into this with such a younger version of Jessica Cruz here. But I definitely expect season 1 to be much more focus on Jessica for sure.
Mm-hmm. It said what's it former mechanic? No, hang on.
I thought I remember him getting in trouble with the law or something like that.
Oh yeah, former mechanic, street racer, and car thief.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, and then I assume joins the Green Lantern, turns everything around, that kind of thing.
Gotcha. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts and reveals to the Green Lantern series, Jessica Cruz debut, and My Adventures with Superman. We definitely want to know your guys' thoughts in the comment section box below. And sticking in the world of, Tony Robinson says James should cast the voice actress as a live action Jessica Cruz. Yeah, that's definitely an option for sure, for sure. What else we got in the world of DCU? We actually have a Clayface in the news here this week. A kind of a surprising update, if you ask me. This movie is well into post-production. I believe this film is set to drop sometime this year, if not October, maybe sometime in November. I would love to see more of a Clayface trailer. We've gotten a little bit of a teaser, but this week, Stuart, we had a surprise casting announcement. We've actually already brought up this gentleman earlier in one of our honorable mentions, but it does look as though Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad has managed to be cast in Clayface. This is an exclusive piece of news from featurefirst.net saying Aaron Paul joins the DC Studios Clayface in a minor role. It says breaking out in Breaking Bad, legendary television actor Aaron Paul has been expanding into the genre world as of late in roles in Westworld, Invincible, and the upcoming third season of Fallout, though he will be making the move into his biggest feature film since Mission Impossible 3, and it's working. Wait, he was in Mission Impossible 3? What?
I do not remember that.
I don't remember that at all. He had to be super young if that's the case. And it's worked alongside Tom Rhys Harris in the Clayface movie. Feature First has learned that Aaron Paul will be joining the cast in the film. According to the source, fans can expect his involvement in the film to be brief and minor role. It marks the first time Paul collaborates with director James Watkins. Despite releasing this October, the principal cast of this film is still slim, making Clayface as mysterious as that first trailer, which released in April. And that's what kind of confuses me about this, is the sense that production for this movie has wrapped. Usually what happens is during casting or during filming is really when you start getting the casting announcements that start coming out. And the fact that Aaron Paul, really his name was not present at all. This just kind of came out of nowhere while this movie is deep into post-production. So I am kind of curious as to why Aaron Paul's name is just now being dropped in regards to being a part of this film and not earlier like everybody else certainly was. And it just feels odd that you would get somebody like Aaron Paul for a brief minor role. Because he doesn't seem like just and not to say that he would be like a lead character in anything else, but Aaron Paul's very recognizable kind of face. You would think that any role that he would have would be formidable or pretty important or pretty heavy in that regards. So the idea of having him in just for a brief minor role is an interesting one, and the idea of his name coming up kind of late in all of this is another interesting one. How do you feel about this, Stuart? Do you think there's something brewing going on here, or what do you expect of this casting?
I think it could mean one of two things. One, the reason they're talking about this now is because even though his role is brief, he plays an important character to, the long scheme of things in the DC universe. Who? I have no idea, though. Possibly Green Arrow. Who knows? I really hope not. I really hope not Bruce Wayne. I love Aaron Paul, but I could not see him as Bruce Wayne at all. So I don't know. Like, it does seem weird. My main theory, though, of who he's going to be playing, all right, get this, is going to be the most mind-blowing theory ever. I think he's playing himself. I think because okay, real life celebrities exist in James Gunn's
I
DC
can see
universe.
that.
We had this whole rant from Chris, from Peacemaker season 1 of like, going off of different celebrities that Economos could have used. Every single one of those celebrities he name drops are real celebrities. So it's like I could see Aaron Paul existing in the DC universe. Breaking Bad be a very popular show in the DC universe. So I kind of hope he's playing himself. That's who I hope he's playing.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. That would certainly make a lot of sense. I mean, the character himself is an actor. The Clayface guy is an actor, so him having a world in acting, I mean, maybe he's shooting the scene opposite of him briefly or something like that. Maybe they share a scene together for an upcoming movie that they're working on, or a commercial or something like that. I could easily see that. That might be like that might be the simplest, most direct like thing that he could be playing. It's the simplest answer. So I really do dig that, Stuart. I watch that be the case. If I had to guess here, go ahead, Stuart.
Sorry, one more thing I will say on top of that, because this is a horror movie, and I love it when actors, because this happens all the time, like Brandon Fraser from Looney Tunes Back in Action, for example. Actors love playing douchebag versions of themselves sometimes, like, caricatures. So I would love it if Aaron Paul is like a total asshole, but then his death scene is super gruesome.
Yeah, that would be great if he's an asshole and he's like the first victim that Clayface kills. Like I would love that. That would be so fantastic.
He's dying.
Outside of that, because outside of that, because I do think what you just said is probably like, if I had to put my money on it, that would probably be the direction that I would go in regards to who Aaron Paul could be playing. It is crazy that on my social media I have seen some people, I don't know if they're joking or if they're just throwing out this to be funny, about the idea of like introducing your DCU Batman, ladies and gentlemen. I'm like, ain't no way. Like, look, I love me some Aaron Paul, but there ain't no way you're about to be my Bruce Wayne or my Batman. Like, I don't even know how tall Aaron Paul is, but I'm pretty sure I'm taller than Aaron Paul. And if I'm taller than Aaron Paul, you can't be Batman in my world. I'm just being honest with you. So I have seen like 2 or 3 posts that are like that are like introducing DCU Batman. Like, no, I don't think that's the case.
Wait,
if I have to put
someone
my money
has to be taller than you to be Batman, does that mean you don't want oh, I'm so sorry. I think there's like a time delay with our microphones or something. Yeah, because of connection or something. Anyways, oh shit, I almost lost my train of thought. Fuck.
So he has to be taller than me.
Oh, right. That's right. That's what you're saying. Oh, yeah. So I was gonna say. So does that mean Tom Cruise is out of the question for Bruce Wayne?
Yes, bro. Ain't no way. I need my Batman to have some gravitas on the big screen. I need to have him have a presence. So yeah, you got to at least match my 5'11", or you got to be like a really big looking 5'8" or 5'9" or something. Like you gotta be past 5'8" for sure. But if I had to put money on it, I don't know why I get like, I can see like a Commissioner Gordon type of vibe going on in here. That would probably be like somebody out of the GCPD, since we are going to be heavily involved in Gotham. I wouldn't want him necessarily, to be like some like a judge or like a lawyer or something like that. I can get like gritty James Gordon type of vibes. I would be kind of curious to see what Aaron Paul looks like with some type of beard, if they go the beard route or the mustache route for him. But I could see James Gordon here. I believe Marcelino also throws in though, maybe like Harvey Bullock or Harvey Dent. That might be a possibility for either of those. Tony Robinson does say Aaron Paul could be a cop. Yeah, he could be a cop also in here, maybe a corrupt cop or something like that. But I don't know. I feel like those roles are so minor for Aaron Paul. But I think he's either going to be playing somebody either significant, but he has a minor role in here, or like you said, Stuart, potentially just playing himself. I think either of those are really possible for sure.
Yeah, I could definitely see him. I don't know if I could see him as Jim Gordon, but
Jim
I
Gordon.
do like Harvey Bullock though. That one I really like. I could see him as Harvey Bullock.
I can see that. I can see that too.
Harvey Dent would be kind of interesting too. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I see Tony Robinson mentioning Matthew Lillard. He is going to be in Superman. Wait, I think it's Superman. Yeah, he's going to be in Man of Tomorrow, I believe. So it's a possibility. My money though with Matthew Lillard, I'm gonna say Toy Man. That is where my money is at with Matthew Lillard.
That's funny. Is he supposed to be in Clayface?
Oh, Matthew Lillard? No, but he is going to be in Man of Tomorrow. Although if he is in Clayface, then I'm going to say Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, it does say he has been cast in Superman sequel Man of Tomorrow. His exact role of the film is currently being kept under wraps, and they've got some fan theories out there as to who Matthew Lillard could be playing. But yeah, I just found this casting news of Aaron Paul in Clayface to be interesting, because usually 9 times out of 10 this is the type of stuff that gets announced as filming is underway, and they either see people on the set or the studio gives the green light for these names to kind of be dropped. But with us literally like months away from this movie being released in theaters, it's like I'm kind of surprised his name is just now leaking out. But we'll see how impactful or insequential his character is going to be for Clayface. But I like your idea, Stuart. In the world that takes place in for acting in Hollywood, maybe he's just playing himself, man. So we'll see. That sounds like something he'd be down for. But yeah, let us know your thoughts, guys. Aaron Paul in Clayface in a minor brief role. Who do you think he could be playing? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section box below. And we're going to stick in the world of the DCU because a while back, if you guys recall, there was news that a Jimmy Olsen series was currently in development. Going to be sharing the screen alongside Gorilla Grodd. I can't remember the name of the potential name for what this series was set to be, but if I'm not mistaken, Stuart, I believe this show was described sort of like a docu series, I believe, of Jimmy Olsen, maybe like a crime docu series. I don't want to say it's like a 60 minutes type of thing, but clearly Jimmy Olsen is doing some level of investigation in regards to something that's going on with Gorilla Grodd. And we're going to get ourselves a series out of this. Jimmy Olsen really being the first sort of official spin-off series out of Superman. I guess you can say Supergirl is like the first official spin-off movie out of Superman. But Jimmy Olsen's getting his own spin-off series here. This week, Peter Safran has actually confirmed a little bit more that this series seemingly is moving ahead, Stuart. Looks like all the pieces are kind of coming together for this one. But Peter Safran had the opportunity to give us some updates, not only in regards to this Jimmy Olsen show, but also a couple of other ones as well. So let's go ahead and dive into this article. This one comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. DCU boss talks The Brave and the Bold, Justice League, and confirms the Gorilla Grodd HBO series. With James Gunn hard at work on shooting his Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow, his fellow DC Studios CEO Peter Safran is doing the rounds to hype up Supergirl ahead of its release on June 26th. Gunn has hinted at his endgame for Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, but will the Justice Gang eventually become the Justice League? During a red carpet interview, the executive was asked about the possibility of Justice League movie, replied, "We know eventually you head in that direction. However, for now, we really aren't just talking about those movies that we've announced and those projects that we've announced. He says, we're going to do The Brave and the Bold, which brings Batman into the DCU. We've talked about the Gorilla Grodd show for HBO that will be start shooting this year. That's big news, by the way. I probably shouldn't have said that. Um, and then he said the DCU boss is referring to the Jimmy Olsen TV series, which, based on his remarks, is a Grodd series with the Daily Planet photographer in a supporting role. Grodd is one of the Flash's villains, but it seems the Scarlet Speedster will remain on the shelf after his poorly received 2023 movie. Whether this will air on HBO or HBO Max remains to be seen, despite Safran referring to the former, a series about a massive CG ape with psychic powers. Doesn't seem like a good fit for the premium cable network, but we'll see. Later, Safran said that he and Gunn will talk about the DC's future when the time is right, adding that they need to prioritize delivering the best script and story possible. However, there's no rush, and Safran believes having a creative visionary like Gunn on hand in the DC Studios is DC Studios' biggest advantage. I think he's absolutely right there. There was also confirmation, too, that the writer behind the Booster Gold series has officially handed in his pilot script. So if you were wondering what's going on with the Booster Gold series, the writer has in fact confirmed in another article that he has dropped off his script for the pilot episode. So things are seemingly coming together when it comes to at least television series for DCU. We've got confirmation that the Gorilla Grodd HBO series is going to be start filming this year. The Booster Gold script for the pilot has been handed in, and then also what's the other series that they're currently working on? I'm drawing a blank now. Oh, Paradise Lost is seemingly have a writers and showrunners attached, and that's definitely kind of moving forward with extreme pace as well. So when it comes to the television side of things for DC Studios, a lot of moving pieces here. I gotta be honest, Stuart. I'm kind of looking forward to this, man. I'm kind of looking forward to this. If this turns out, first off, while I enjoy the Jimmy Olsen character from Superman, he wasn't my favorite. I think a lot of people probably like funny, added some great humor. Interesting to kind of see Jimmy Olsen as like a womanizer, maybe not even aware of his powers and the prowess that he gives off, that women just flock to his pheromones, it seems like, when it comes to this Jimmy Olsen. But I do dig the concept, if still true, about the idea of this being sort of like a docu-series. And if it does follow Gorilla Grodd, it's just hard for me to imagine that this show in some way, shape, or form doesn't introduce us to a Flash, some type of Scarlet Speedster in some way, shape, or form. Even if he's just mentioned, with this being the DCU that's been around for years, heroes living amongst us sort of thing. I don't know if this is going to be like the beginnings of Gorilla Grodd, like his origin story, or if he has in fact been around and involved for quite some time, and now Jimmy Olsen is starting to investigate a plot or whatever the case may be that can maybe really shine some light on what Gorilla Grodd is kind of up to. There's a part of me that thinks that maybe him and the Flash already have some type of relationship or rivalry before we even get into this show. I don't expect a lot of these shows to be origin based, just because James Gunn has emphasized the idea that the DCU has been around for several years. So it would be nice to kind of jump into a world that's already created and these characters already have some sort of history with each other. But the fact that this is supposed to be sort of a docu-series immediately makes it rather unique and separates itself from other series that we're going to be getting from DC Studios. Whether or not this is going to be one of those HBO original Max series like that's got this prestige sort of level feel to it or not, that I definitely don't know. But there is a level of excitement that I'm getting out of this because of the idea that I just cannot imagine even though Jimmy Olsen has had a comic book series and a run for decades within the DCU, I mean, or the DC Comics for quite some time. I believe Gorilla Grodd made his debut in the Jimmy Olsen comic book, if I'm not mistaken. Also, maybe I'm wrong in that regards, but I just can't imagine you do anything Gorilla Grodd related and not have a Flash cameo in here. I don't know how big of a presence the Flash will have, but I just feel 100% in my heart this is where we get our first reveal of the Flash, and I wouldn't mind it so much. I would rather the Flash be revealed in this series than a movie right off the bat, if you ask me. I think people still need to wash the 2023 Flash sort of out of their mouths and kind of take a step back a little bit before we get another Flash movie. But if we want to start introducing sort of Justice League characters a little bit, a Barry Allen or a Wally West Flash in this series, even if it's like a one episode cameo, I would absolutely love it, to be honest with you. So I am glad to see that this is coming along. I people complaining already like we get a Jimmy Olsen show, but we don't have Man and or Wonder Woman yet. I did, but it really just kind of comes down to what great scripts do you have ready and what don't you? And I'm just not a believer in sidelining great scripts and great content just to have people and wait for a Batman or a Wonder Woman project to drop. So if you got something great and it just happens to be Jimmy Olsen and Gorilla Grodd and maybe fingers crossed a reveal for our brand new Flash in this world, I'm all game for it, Stuart. But I'm really glad to hear that production is set to begin sometime this year. But what are your thoughts on this series as a whole?
Yeah, I think this is not a show that I'm necessarily hyped for. I'll definitely check it out when it comes out, but it's really the writing is going to have to be good for it to like kind of justify its existence, I think, because it's just such a bizarre like kind of idea. Like I think it could work actually, kind of the more I'm thinking about it, because Jimmy Olsen did have his own run with the comic books, and so him having a spin-off show where it's a documentary does kind of make sense. It's just weird to do this kind of a thing this early in the developing DC universe. Yeah, I don't know. Feel like I'm mixed. My brain is going back and forth. Am I looking forward to this? Probably not. But I will definitely, I'll definitely check it out. And it's just if it ends up being a show that just doesn't work for me, then I'll kind of just ask that question of why did this need to exist? But yeah, it's going to be the writing that has to win me over. I am very curious though, because like you were mentioning with the article and everything, with Gorilla Grodd being a big part of this, though, I am very curious if we're going to get a Flash name drop at the very least, or if there's going to be any kind of lore drop about the Flash's role in the DC universe so far. Yeah,
I think if anything, after watching Superman, there were really a lot of big takeaways. One was that Mr. Terrific was golden. Why that wasn't announced freshly after this the movie dropped in regards to Mr. Terrific spin-off series in development, that I don't know, but Mr. Terrific was golden in that, and I think people really walked away loving them some Jimmy Olsen. I think Jimmy Olsen had some great moments in the movie where I remember on social media people just like worshiping Olsen and wanting to see a little bit more of him. So the idea of him getting a kind of a spin-off series doesn't surprise me, but I get the pushback of like, we would like to see other characters, but I think just based off of the success of Superman, how people resonated with Jimmy Olsen, to me, it kind of makes a little bit of sense. And while I get the trepidation that people have towards it, I really do think that if it is a docu-series style, I think there's something really cool about like just that type of filmmaking and editing and trying to put that type of show together. That kind of fascinates me. That feels a little bit out of the box, feels kind of unique, feels kind of true to who the Jimmy Olsen character is. And I think if you can get yourself a really good director and a really good group of writers, I think the show has the potential of certainly surprising people, but I can understand the underwhelmingness of it all before we get the opportunity to really see what it's like. Like maybe once we start getting set photos and more plot details, or maybe even a first look trailer or something like that, maybe it'll get more people's awareness. But the idea that we're getting a Jimmy Olsen out of Superman, out of anything this quickly, doesn't surprise me, just because of how he was received in Superman. But I can understand the underwhelmingness that some people might have about this show. Marceline says, do you think we will get development towards Jimmy and Lex's relationship, because in the comics they are distant cousins? That would be interesting if that gets kind of brought up a little bit. I mean, this would be the show to kind of do it, I think.
Yeah.
We also got I Will Once says, hopefully Eve is in that Jimmy Olsen show. I got to imagine she's got to be. I got to imagine she's going to be involved in some way. She's probably might be helping him do some detective work. He might put her out in the field here and there.
Yeah.
She seems like she's willing to do anything for Jimmy. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts. Let's see here. What else do we got on deck for you guys today? So yeah, let us know your thoughts in regards to the Gorilla Grodd. I am kind of curious, who would you prefer as the Flash, Stuart, if you had your way here?
In terms of actor, or in terms of
no, just like which version of the Flash would you like to see pop up in here?
I would probably go with Wally West, with the explanation that the Barry Allen has been around before. That way it gives kind of the future writers of the Flash like some flexibility of how they want to write both versions of the Flash into the story. But yeah, I would go with Wally West personally.
Yeah, I'm feeling the Wally West, man. I really do. I mean, I know that we got him kind of in Creature Commandos a little bit. Marcelina says, I saw some people theorize that Jimmy Olsen show could be about the Apocalypse timeline shown in Creature Commandos, but I doubt that. Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting one.
I think that would be more likely if it wasn't for the docu aspect of the series, like that they're kind of making it like a documentary type show. So, or making a documentary parody. I think that's what kind of makes me think it's not going to be in that timeline.
That wrong. Tony Robinson says Jack Quaid as Flash. Ooh. I kind of like that a little bit as like a Wally West. I can see that.
Yeah,
I kind of dig him as a Wally West choice personally. But yeah, I'm with you. I definitely would like Wally West here. I know Wally West was teased in regards to Creature Commandos just very briefly. But because it was so brief, it wouldn't surprise me if James Gunn did decide to go a different direction. But man, give me some Wally West, man. I think it's time for Wally West to shine again. He is the main Flash right now in the main Flash book. Even got a new creative team, writer Ryan North. So if you are going to develop a Flash, I think now would be a great time to have Wally West as the feature, since he is the featured speedster on the main Flash title right now. So we'll see if he comes back into prominence. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts. And with that out of the way, Stuart, we will transition over from the DCU to the MCU, because, ladies and gentlemen, this time around we got ourselves more Spider-Man Brand New Day. That's right, it's been a minute, but we got some brand new exclusive posters that have in fact dropped for you guys with different formats for you to certainly check out the movie in. And then we did get ourselves our official trailer number 2 that wind up dropping this week, that gave us what I thought was a ton of brand new footage. Really even showcased to us some new plot ideas overall. But I want to go ahead and bring this up, Stuart. Have you had the opportunity to check out the trailer by any chance?
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about it. We did do a trailer review for you guys up on the channel. If you have not had the opportunity to check it out, please go ahead and do so. I gave my brief thoughts on it, but I would definitely love to know your guys' thoughts. And I really want to go ahead and highlight, give Stuart the opportunity to kind of talk about this as well. So let me pull this up here. Eventually, it'll show itself. There we go. All right, yeah, let's go ahead and check out this trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day. This drops in July, if I'm not mistaken. So we're not too far out, but let's check out the brand new trailer. Let's go.
What is happening to me? Did you miss me, Spidey? I'm losing my mind. I am totally out of control. I gotta fix whatever this is right now.
Final semester MIT.
Dad, who do you think is actually watching these?
Maybe someone.
Okay, well, bye, someone.
What the? Dr. Banner, you found a way to suppress mutating DNA, right?
If you see me with this stuff, run.
Yo, that nervous laugh from Peter gets me every time. Like he knows how dangerous that shit is. He's just like, oh, it's not very funny, but okay. I love it.
You get rid of the bad aspects, but keep the good.
How would you decide what parts of nature are good or bad?
Well, sorry about that.
You're not one of my students, are you?
It appears we're faced with a threat we can't control. One we can't even see. You're the only one who's immune to it. You're the only one who can sense it.
What do you think they're looking for?
Oh, see, you stumbled across my board. I'm not one of those weirdos, I swear.
He's a little weird. I'm MJ.
You two don't know each other?
Yo, Spider-Man, you okay? You get rid of that monster inside you?
Think I might go see how MJ's doing.
You're not gonna get away with this.
But he might.
I didn't know you could get that big. But you're in danger. You just have to trust me.
Fine. This whole thing can get really scary.
Who the hell is that?
Who the hell are you?
Frank, please. I don't have anywhere else to go.
By the people who love you, just gonna let him go himself? Love you because you're you.
If you're gonna do something, you better do it now.
Never forget that. No matter how powerful you become.
I miss you, mate. Huh. All right. Just give me a sec. I'm not in high school anymore. Oh. Did you stretch? You a big stretcher? It's so good for you. You ready?
Bro, this looks so fucking good, bro. I can't lie, Stuart. This shit just looks so good to me, man. Every time I see it, I'm highly impressed.
And to think we almost didn't get it because Sony wanted to do another multiverse movie.
Oh, yeah, that would have just crushed me, bro. I'm trying to find a cool show here. Oh, go ahead.
The two thing, so one of the things that really stands out to me about this trailer is, funny enough, with the Hulk, and I say that because I haven't hated the kind of Professor Hulk aesthetic, but as Marcelino puts it, many are saying that Prime Hulk is back and no more Professor Hulk. Well, I'm sure we'll get Professor Hulk again, but I do like that this is kind of the first time we've really seen the Hulk looking intimidating since the Avengers movie back in 20. Actually, I got to give Age of Ultron credit as well. He
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron. Yeah, he looks kind of intimidating in some aspects of that movie, but I feel like that was the last time, and ever since then, we just haven't really gotten much of an intimidating looking Hulk, which of course they're not trying to do. I think they wanted to take him in a more campy direction. That's fine, but I like that if we're gonna have the stakes, back up with Spider-Man versus the Hulk. I like how they're not kind of treating it like the fun gladiator fight that we get in Thor Ragnarok. I like how here we have it like actually feeling like Hulk from like 2012 during that scene when they're on the aircraft carrier in the sky, and that's when Bruce Banner gets angry at like one of the worst possible moments while like Natasha like is like stuck under some debris. That's the vibe that I got from that scene with Spider-Man. And I love how, even though it feels very much like shot in that kind of a spectacular way of making the Hulk look intimidating once again, you still have Peter Parker able to crack a joke right there going, oh wow, you're a lot bigger than I thought.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight this shot here because I love this costume, dude. I love this costume. The more and more that I see of this costume, I continue to fall in love with it. It reminds me for all of you comic heads out there, like a Alex Ross kind of painting of Spider-Man. I love the fabric use of this. I get vibes of like the 1970s Spider-Man, or even some of like the Japanese Spider-Man sort of costume designs. It feels like a nice little amalgamation of like all three, just really going back to like a classic vibes, and not like a nanotech type of suit or anything like that. Just a straight up like I made this at home type of costume, and it looks brilliant. Like the colors are really vibrant. I even love the fact that when he starts to stretch, you can see him pull at like his pant leg type of fabric material as he starts stretching himself. So I love the costume. The costume continues to really, really grow on me. I also find the relationship between him and the Punisher as a fascinating one. In a time of isolation, the person that he seems to gravitate towards the most is Frank Castle. Which is interesting. I do wonder if they kind of share that bond of isolationism amongst each other. Maybe that's what kind of brings them together. Because I'm kind of in the impression that there's a much bigger role for the Punisher in here that with Spider-Man than expected. Not just necessarily a cameo, but a well thought out bond and maybe some type of friendship between the two. I mean, if Spider-Man comes to him in order to kind of stash away MJ, and MJ's kind of talking to the Punisher in the sense of like, aren't you going to help him? It seems as though they have like duo moments in this movie. Maybe they're both trying to take out the Hulk at some point in time, which would be incredible to kind of see on screen. But it definitely is hinting at it definitely hints at a much bigger relationship and vibe between the two. And one of the aspects about this trailer, Stuart, that I still love, and it might drive some people crazy, but I love it. I still don't know who the fucking villain is. Like I don't know. I don't know who the villain is. I don't really know the main plot of what the focus is outside of like the mutation aspect of Spider-Man. I don't really know what else is surrounding the story here. And some people maybe want that stuff like spoon fed to them before they go see this movie. No, I'm cool with it. I want to go into this movie with a complete mystery so that when stuff starts to unravel on screen, because I have a feeling it's going to feel kind of like a detective kind of story in the sense of like you pull back one layer and it's something else that's kind of revealed to you. I think the mystery behind the plot and the villain is done very purposefully, but I've seen enough out of this movie that I'm just like, this looks so fucking good. Like I cannot wait to go into this movie as blind as I am and have everything revealed to me as I'm watching it in a movie going experience. Like that just, to me, that excites me for what the potential for this movie could really be. But I'm loving everything that I've been seeing so far, Stuart.
Yeah, same here. The fact that they're taking this to kind of Spider-Man going from like having basically the nano suit to like now having just a suit that he made at home, I'm actually really excited to see. He doesn't have the advantages he had in the previous film. He doesn't have like the allies he had, and so that's why it's interesting that he is kind of relying more on the street level characters like Punisher for like one aspect of the film, especially when it comes to protecting MJ. So that is really, I'm wondering how that's going to play out, because you have Punisher that still blames himself for not being able to protect his own family. So I wonder how he's going to feel about having to protect MJ. I really hope it's also Ned there too, because I really want to see Ned annoy the Punisher. We haven't seen any scenes of the two of them together in the trailers, but I just think that would make for some amazing comedy. Something I wanted to also bring up about this is that there was an interview recently with Tom Holland, and he was talking about working with Jonathan Bernthal on this movie. So something I had no idea. So I knew that they had worked on a couple of films before this, one of those being the upcoming Odyssey movie. But what I didn't know is that they actually had a pretty good friendship kind of developed from the movies that they've been working on together. So a lot of the banter that we're going to see between Spider-Man and the Punisher is actually improvised. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how that all is going to play out. I think what's cool is that it really feels like this is almost like kind of almost like a soft reboot for Tom Holland Spider-Man. You know, it doesn't necessarily ignore the trilogy that came before it. Neither does it like necessarily try to like dump on the original trilogy, but this really feels like it's moving forward. It's taking a bit like a much more kind of mature take on this world, since again, this is a Spider-Man that doesn't have what he had before. He doesn't have the, you know, billionaire friend designing suits for him. You know, he doesn't have like a bunch of Avengers that he could like use as a safety net. You know, it's just going to be him. And then, you know, going to Hulk, you know, having to convince the Hulk that, you know, which I imagine isn't too hard. We see them having a good conversation together, but I am kind of curious, you know, if it's hard for him to convince Bruce Banner that he's Spider-Man, or if Bruce like makes him prove it or something, or how that whole conversation is going to go down, being like, hey, we used to kind of know each other until I completely changed the entire universe. And then, yeah, I'm also really curious with his relationship with MJ in this movie. You know, he remembers everything about her and Ned, but they don't know anything about him. And so I'm very, very curious how that is all going to play out. All in all, I am really excited for this movie. I think that depending on if this movie is as good as the trailer makes it look, I think Dustin Daniel, or yeah, right, that's his name, Dustin.
Dustin Daniel Cretton.
Dustin Daniel Cretton, that's right. I think he's going to become my new favorite Marvel director if this show is as good as it looks. Because, you know, as much as I, you know, like to shit on the climax of Shang-Chi, I also do think that was because that was just a whole Disney thing. I don't think that was him specifically, because yeah, it was a studio thing. I don't think like that was his decision, because everything leading up to that was so good. And then also, you know, Wonder Man was such an awesome show that like really took like a different direction within the MCU. So if this movie is as good as the trailers are making it look, he might be my new favorite Marvel director.
What do you think about Ned in here? Ned seemingly has had some sort of detective work of his own. It looks like he's trying to figure out the identity of Spider-Man. What do you think about that arc for him in here?
That's interesting. A really cool place to take it. And it makes me kind of wonder if it's because his relationship with Peter and Spider-Man was so strong that like there's just a part of him subconsciously that he doesn't realize that's just trying to reconnect with Spider-Man. And honestly, I wouldn't even doubt if that was also why MJ was like kind of partially in on it, partially not, maybe like she's encouraging Ned, but she doesn't want to like, you know, because she's very much like the character that kind of like hides her emotions and all that. And I imagine because she never had that relationship with Peter Parker, her walls are still like probably pretty high up. Actually, that is one thing I really hope the movie does address, is that I feel like her being able to open up was a thing she got because of her relationship with Peter Parker.
Oh, with Peter.
So I'm wondering if that will be addressed in this movie. If like, I think that's, if I was making this movie, that is one thing I would have changed, but I also don't want to say that's a bad decision because I still want to see the movie, how it plays out. But it does seem like Ned and MJ are doing fine without Peter in their life. So personally, for me, I would have kind of gone the opposite way. Like their life isn't as great because they didn't know Peter, and Peter didn't help the two of them grow as people. But with him seemingly not going in that direction, I wonder if there's going to be a thing with Peter feeling guilty. Like, oh, look at how great their lives are without me. Did I ruin their lives? Yeah. It's so yeah, with Ned, I think the reason he's looking for Spider-Man, I'm still going with the subconscious theory. Like it's just a part of him deep down.
Yeah, I kind of believe that aspect too, and I find it as an interesting one, and maybe just because I'm grasping for straws, and I've always been an advocate for I need Ned to eventually turn into the Hobgoblin here at some point in time. Like I do wonder like if this is just Ned, like just a wholesome curiosity in regards to him being the guy behind the desk type of guy, that he's got to look up this information, he's got to discover it for himself in regards to who Spider-Man is. I agree, maybe it is a subconscious thing because of his connection, that they're just like, I feel like I know this guy for some reason, and so maybe this is where his inquiry kind of comes from. But I do wonder if it's an inquiry that could eventually take a wrong turn, or a little bit of a darker turn for Ned. The fact that he says, I promise I'm not crazy, or something like that, it's like, are you? Like maybe maybe something has triggered you more, like you trying to find out his identity is a little bit more than what it seems. It would be interesting to see if that's a route that they go here. But that's just my own grasping for straws and speculation, because I really want to see a Hobgoblin played by Ned in here.
And plus,
they even but maybe in the future films.
Plus, they even kind of hinted at it in the previous film with him finding out that both Spider-Mans had a best friend that tried to betray him, and him going,
betray him. Yes,
Peter, I promise I'll never do that to you.
Yeah,
and
bro.
I wonder, like, with his obsession with Spider-Man in this movie, maybe it's the reveal that Peter, took away, Ned's memory of him. Like maybe it's that reveal that pushes him over the edge and makes him Hobgoblin.
Bro, you never know. I'm glad that you brought up the idea that this feels like a soft reboot in a sense. Because I almost feel like it needs to, because of the fact that we have ourselves an entire trilogy already by John Watts, and now we're really entering sort of a new phase for Spider-Man. You really need this new set of trilogy films to feel significantly different, right? I mean, the idea that he even drops the line in here at the end, like, I'm not in high school anymore, really emphasizes the idea that we need to take bigger swings. The film itself looks a lot more dramatic and just much more of a serious tone, like cinematically. If it doesn't feel like a coming of age type of vibe, and that's what I absolutely love about this, is that they really are kind of soft rebooting, like not to take away anything that he's done in the past, but just really showcasing like, okay, this is Peter Parker, new age, new time in his life. We really need to have a new vision for that. And I wish that was something that a lot of the fan base could embrace a little bit more, because I still see people shitting all over John Watts in regards to his trilogy. I mean, a new shot comes out of this movie, people are like, why couldn't John Watts have given us this? Why couldn't he have done this? Or I can't believe John Watts never did this, with the whole practical suit and practical swinging. I get the idea that maybe people wanted a little bit more out of their John Watts Spider-Man trilogy, but I'm not going to sit up here and act like nobody loved those fucking movies. I mean, these movies made billions of dollars. I just don't like the idea of us having to shit on the success of what came before in order to bolster our appreciation for what it is that we have now. When in the reality, if we didn't have the John Watts trilogy, we wouldn't have even cared about Spider-Man in this particular point in his life to get these trilogy of movies. So I just hate having to tear other people down for the success of Destin Daniel Cretton and what he's shown us from these two movies. We can equally love them for their differences. But I'm just not a fan of shitting on John Watts, because I thought he had an incredible trilogy that fit its purpose. And now we've got a brand new soft reboot with a new vision, like you kind of mentioned in here, Stuart, that makes me even more excited for what we're going to get.
Yeah, I think the John Watts trilogy was a lot of fun, great. And I think I wasn't the biggest fan of the second, what was it? It was Far From Home.
Far From Home, yeah. I wasn't the biggest fan of that one either.
That one, yeah, I just thought it was kind of okay. But I still think that first one was like a great way to get us like kind of hyped for Spider-Man in the MCU. And I think it ended like on a really great note. Like, even though they went the marketing multiverse route, and brought back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, it didn't feel I don't know. It didn't feel lazy. It didn't feel forced.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a cash grab like we got with other multiverse movies in the MCU. Like later on, this one, it felt very much like they had a great story to tell. And I think that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield just added to helping Peter getting to where he needed to be. And it was just a perfect way to set up this soft reboot as well, while also being the perfect conclusion to that trilogy that we got. I look at the John Watts trilogy, honestly, as like a origin trilogy for this version of Spider-Man. Honestly, it just felt like, a full trilogy origin story, because when you think about it with Tom Holland, his version of Peter Parker as a character, this all happened to him over the course of 2 years. He has gone through, and I know that's common in the comic books, like you have all this stuff that's happened over the course of like, a couple of years, but it's like over like 10 years of comic book stories. But in this, we're aging Peter in real time, unlike the comic books. Well, not real time, but we're aging Peter faster than we were in the comic books. So when you think about it, the ramifications of, or just like the impact that many things would have on someone, it makes sense for this to be the turning point for Peter as a character.
I do want to give some shots to some people in the live chat with their comments about the topic. Spider-Man is tracking box office biggest movie in 5 years since the last Spider-Man movie. I definitely believe that. Marcino says many people are saying that Prime Hulk is back and no more Professor Hulk. We'll see how that goes. Marcia says, I really hope they explain the Hand's presence, especially if Daredevil isn't in it. I have a feeling that they will, though.
I was gonna say, okay, so one thing that I'm kind of like, okay, trailer, don't tease me like this, is where's Spider-Man fighting the Hand? In a prison. Where was the last place we saw Daredevil at the end of his series? So I'm just kind of like, come on, Netflix, or come on, Sony, don't tease me like this. Give me Daredevil.
I mean, they seem to be popping up a lot in these trailers, so we'll see where the presence is. Many people are hyped for a brand new day, but their only problem is that they don't know who the main villain is. I understand. I don't know who the main villain is either, but I'm like, yes, please. Yes, please. Kiki and Lucas says, Brand New Day will not have a domestic IMAX release in the US because the screens have been locked into exclusive multi-week runs for Christopher Nolan's Odyssey. Speaking of which, we did get brand new posters. Since you're right, there is no IMAX screening for it. We did get some brand new posters. Let me pull up some of the posters for you guys. This is the Dolby Atmos poster, which looks awesome. We also got Cinemark XD poster here if you want to see on the big screen. We got the D box. Where's the D box poster? There's the D box poster for you guys. There's even a real 3D poster. A 4DX poster also that looks pretty badass with him and his webbing. I think this is another official poster here with Scorpion on the cover. And one format that they are highlighting and really emphasizing, I guess because of the fact that they don't have IMAX, Stuart, is Screen X. They say that this movie is actually shot for Screen X. They even went ahead and dropped the Screen X featurette earlier this week. Also, the Screen X is like the 3 movie screens. Then you got your main one and you got the 2 screens on the side.
Oh
yeah,
I have not heard anything good about those from people that have seen it.
Well, I also don't think a lot of films have been shot specifically for Screen X, so maybe it hasn't necessarily benefited those movies before, but they're specifically saying Spider-Man Brand New Day has been shot for Screen X. So maybe there are some really cool sequences in here that actually will utilize that technology to its fullest compared to other ones that just seemingly, just throw in that additional format. But maybe they're kind of hoping that Screen X will take place of the IMAX kind of money for them, if you will. But they are emphasizing the idea of seeing this movie in Screen X. I probably won't. I don't even know where a Screen X theater is in my area, if I'm being quite honest with you. But I can't wait for this movie, though. I'm really excited for it. Let's see here. Nathan says, this is what makes it more interesting. It looks good. Kiki says, I'm watching it in Dolby. Kiki and Lucas says Homecoming made 880 million. Far From Home made 1.13 billion, and No Way Far From Home made 1.13 billion, and No Way Home made 1.92 billion. No Way Home was epic by comparison. It felt more like an Avengers event. Yeah, I don't see Spider-Man Brand New Day making 1.9 billion dollars. I could see it coming anywhere between the 1.1 though and the 1.9. I don't know if this will make $2 billion, but I don't know. It could make $2 billion. I'm not gonna doubt what this movie is capable of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna hit the $1 billion club.
Tony Robbins says, I thought Frank didn't have time for this candy ass hero shit.
He always says that, but then he always ends up being part of the hero ass candy shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Would MJ or Ned getting killed off be too dark? Maybe. I don't know. The Ned becoming Hobgoblin feels like the better route to me instead of killing him off, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Pexi, I was wondering if you and Stuart talked about my suggestions of watching Spider-Man 1977 as a way to prepare for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Should we watch that, Stuart?
I'm down. I just got to find out where we can, if it's available.
Yeah, we'll have to look it up. I'm not sure exactly where we can find it on streaming, but we'll add it to our suggestions for sure. All right, guys. But yeah, let us know your thoughts in regards to all the Spider-Man talk. But yeah, with that out of the way, we will move on to our next topic. What's in the news? Oh, we also got another Marvel topic as X-Men is back in the news. It looks like preparation for the next X-Men movie is seemingly set to maybe begin by the end of this year in regards to filming beginning. And so I feel like there's a lot more news that's going to continue to drop. Kevin Feige is in the news this week along with the writer for the film, kind of giving us a little bit of hints and teases in regards to maybe not necessarily the cast, but the age range that they're kind of going for, and really the idea of some of the themes and such that they kind of want to tap into a little bit here. For the longest time around here, we have been kind of curious as to what grouping of mutants we're going to get, what class of X-Men we're certainly going to get. I've definitely been hoping and speculating for more of an original class of X-Men. So I'm talking Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Angel, Iceman. That might seem a little bit simplistic at first, maybe a little bit more of a first class type of reveal. But I really have no idea what we're going to get. But Kevin Feige wants to emphasize to us here the idea that the team that we get is definitely going to be on the younger side, Stuart. So let's go ahead and pull this up. This is Kevin Feige talking with Collider. Says Marvel head Kevin Feige confirms controversial X-Men casting decision. However, for those looking for some A-list stars to head Westchester County, be warned, this will be a budget-conscious version of the X-Men. Kevin Feige says Jackson, incredibly smart guy, and he's an incredibly talented filmmaker. We had a great experience with him on Thunderbolts, and if you saw that movie, what he did with those character interactions, he also has his pulse on, shall we say, a younger demographic, because X-Men, as it was in the comics, will be a very youth-oriented, focused, and cast movie. So they definitely are going the much younger route here. Now saying farewell to the older cast of X-Men that have been around for quite some time now, with Doomsday along with Secret Wars incoming. Kevin Feige definitely hints at the idea of a much younger cast. Now, when he hints at a much younger cast, Stuart, to you, does that emphasize he's definitely going the classic X-Men route, or do you think you can still play around with a younger cast and a younger oriented group of mutants, but maybe more of a Chris Claremont or Grant Morrison or Jonathan Hickman run type of X-Men group in here. What do you think when he says younger? Do you think it entails a particular group of X-Men in particular, or just that they're just going for younger?
I think they're just going for younger in terms of like the actors, but I do think that in terms of the X-Men that we're going to be adapting, I think if I'm a betting man, I'm going with like the original kind of the, like, I don't want to say the full original run lineup, but like probably something similar to, you know, X-Men 97. That's where my money would be placed. I think because I do think that they want to kind of appeal to the mainstream in the sense of getting the more familiar characters, but I also do think that it's a very smart decision though to go with kind of like younger unknowns for this, because then it kind of helps audiences be able to connect like these new faces with these superheroes, rather than, you know, if you had someone like, you know, since she's on the screen, Sophie Turner, you know, playing Jean Grey. I feel like a lot of people seeing her as Jean Grey would say, oh, hey, it's Sophie Turner as Jean Grey, rather than if it's a new face, they just see that character, or they see that actor as Jean Grey herself. So yeah, that's where I think they're going with it.
Yeah, I mean, I am glad that they're going the younger route for sure. I am just, I really don't know what group of X-Men we're going to get here. I do think when he says younger, I do think you're right in the sense of whether that be unknowns. First off, I really wish that Sophie Turner had gotten more opportunity as Jean Grey. I think she really probably could have done an amazing job at that particular role. So I don't mind them going a little bit younger here. You know, you do mention the idea of an X-Men 97 kind of group. It would be kind of cool to be able to see that 90s version of those characters brought to the big screen. But there's a part of me that thinks that, like, because of the fact that we have them already in an animated series that they plan on releasing on a yearly basis, it almost feels like we've got that group of X-Men kind of covered already. Like, if people want to see that version of the X-Men, they could just kind of go to the show itself. So there is a part of me that thinks that, like, maybe the first outing is more of a classic X-Men. You know, I even seen rumors that suggest maybe that Rogue is maybe in this movie, maybe in the sense of a Rogue when she was first introduced to the X-Men as a villain, and maybe eventually acquiring powers and turning into a good guy and becomes the classic Rogue that we eventually kind of know. I know people are really hoping for, like, theorizing that maybe a Storm will be cast and things like that. And so it's just like, I don't know how you fit those characters into this movie if you go the classic X-Men route, or if maybe you just don't. Maybe you just go more like a classic, if we are going to do anything classic, maybe like giant size X-Men group. That would be a pretty interesting take on things too. You can still have your classic X-Men in there, but the addition of some other characters that maybe get introduced to the team for the first time, like a Colossus and a Storm, and I would even say Banshee or Sunspot would be not Sunspot, but who was the other guy? The other fire element guy. It's not Sunspot. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Fire.
The one that was in Deadpool Wolverine, right?
Was he in Deadpool?
Pyro?
No,
Pyro.
not Pyro. No, not Pyro.
My bad.
Damn, I can't remember his name I can't remember his damn name now from Giant Size X-Men. I think he was Chinese superhero. Can't remember his name now. If you guys remember in the comment section, let me know. But yeah, so I don't really know what route they're going to go. And that kind of fascinates me, but I definitely do need them to be younger skewed, just because I definitely want to be around with these characters a long time. I mean, heaven forbid, we've been around with these Fox X-Men characters for like 20 plus years, and I don't even think that they were as young as they are. I don't think they're as young as the cast that Kevin Feige probably wants to cast now. So maybe these could be like the X-Men for like the next 30 or 40 years for all we know. But I am excited to see what they come up with. But that's not the only X-Men update we have. Deadline did also sit down with the the writer for X-Men, Lee Sung Jin, over from his series Beef over on Netflix. It did highlight season 2. And that's really what most of this interview certainly is. But at the very end, they do talk a little bit about the X-Men in this world, and I thought it'd be interesting to highlight. Before I let you go, you've taken a stab at Marvel before, and now you're doing the next X-Men movie. What is it like to do something that has these kind of parameters after the freedom that you had on Beef? And he says, truthfully, it's the same parameters on this project, which is so exciting. I'd say that they were actually more parameters on Thunderbolts because it was plugging into an existing arc and existing characters. Whereas with X-Men, Kevin Feige wants to take a big swing, not be beholden to any of the movies that have come before. And Jack Schreier has such a clear vision in terms of wanting to get back to characters first and to what is exciting about those early Chris Claremont run comics, which was all about team dynamics. There were a lot of soapy elements to those comics. We've been in a room every day together. Kevin Feige and Luis D'Esposito are so dialed in, and they have incredible instincts that it's been fun to just blue sky. He says, I'm such a big fan of the IP of the comics. My dad and I every Saturday morning used to watch the show on television. So to be able to look around this Marvel conference room and have every X-Men character on the board and be able to spitball and freestyle on, what about this person? It's so emboldening because you're like, oh, wow, this isn't going to be a safe movie. This is exactly going to be a really exciting new take. What do you feel beholden to when you write something like that? He says, would younger me want to run to the movie theater to watch this? Are we honoring all the amazing work that the comics set up? Are we playing it safe? Are we pushing things? It's just trying to look at my childhood self who loved these characters so much and making sure we're doing right by him and all the other fans that love X-Men. So that's what the writer certainly had to say. Anything stand out to you in that regard, Stuart?
I do like that. It sounds like he has a lot more creative freedom with this because it's not really tying into a story that's like going on. So, yeah, with him comparing it to Thunderbolts, yeah, because Thunderbolts, even though I think he did an incredible job at that, he definitely wrote that knowing what the through line had to be in order to set up the next Avengers movie. So it is kind of cool with this X-Men movie. It doesn't sound like they're trying to tie it into an upcoming arc or anything. They're just trying to have it be a standalone X-Men movie. And given that we've seen what he can do with the creative restrictions, or the basically with the limitations he was given with Thunderbolts, in order to fit it into the bigger picture, it's going to be really cool to see what he can do now that he doesn't have have to worry about anything like that. He can just make an X-Men movie. I also love it when fans are the ones that are involved in writing or directing. I love it when a director or writer has some connection, some nostalgia for what it is that they're working on. In the case of this, the fact that they were an X-Men fan before they got to write for the movie, I think is really exciting as well. It sounds like we were talking earlier about the lineup. I honestly don't think this is going to be any specific lineup. The more I'm thinking about it, I think he's just going to be choosing which X-Men he wants to work with to tell the story that he wants to tell. It sounds like that's what Kevin Feige wants him to do, and it sounds like that's what he's going for.
I was just thinking that same thing, listening to what he was talking about. They seem really inspired by Chris Claremont's run. I feel like when they talk about it, they talk heavily about that's a lot of what they're currently reading and really sort of diving into. So I'm kind of almost in agreement. The fact that he says we have every X-Men on the board that we could possibly use if we certainly want to. We've been really inspired by what Chris Claremont is doing. We kind of want to tap into the soap opera aspects and the character focus dynamics of what the X-Men certainly are. That feels like it could be a bit of an amalgamation in the sense of like we really get to build our very first team of X-Men the way that we want to, that really works for the story. So, maybe the idea of an original classic X-Men isn't necessarily on the board. That's not to say that some of those characters can't be utilized, but it might be a case of maybe replacing some of the other characters as first team members, or thrusting us into a situation where they really can utilize any character they want to kind of formulate their team, and not necessarily beholding to, like, even though they may be inspired by the Chris Claremont stuff, maybe they are utilizing their own team of characters and playing up some of these storylines the way that Chris Claremont certainly did, but for their particular groups of X-Men characters. So it could be a little bit of all over the board in regards to who just fits the narrative that they need to kind of tell the story, and kind of go from there is very much where I'm kind of standing at now too, Stuart. So when Kevin Feige mentions the idea like this is going to be a group of X-Men you'd never really seen before, coming across drastically different than anything that you've kind of seen prior, it kind of feels that way. As long as it holds true to what the X-Men are, utilize whatever characters that you certainly need. Nathan does go on to say, whatever they do, Disney and Marvel have to make this work. I would agree. I do think that they have a great team around them, though, to kind of make this work. Marcelino says, you mean Sunfire, Adam? Yes, Sunfire. Thank you so much for bringing up the name. Who do you want to be the main villain for the first X-Men movie? Magneto again, or someone else? Rumors are circulating that Mr. Sinister will be the main villain.
I've been hearing the Mr. Sinister rumors too, and I want him in the MCU for sure, just not in the first X-Men movie. That would be like having Darkseid be the main villain in the first Superman movie by James Gunn. I want Mr. Sinister in there, but like not quite yet. But yeah, I think I'm making a prediction here. I think Magneto's going to be in it. I do not think he's going to be the main villain.
Yeah, I don't know if they go the Magneto route again. I'm okay with Mr. Sinister being teased to be a main villain at some point in time. I mentioned the idea of Rogue. I wouldn't mind them taking a swing at Rogue potentially being a main villain in here to go up against the team. And then eventually redeemed maybe by the end of it. It feels like a classic Disney thing that they could possibly do if they went with Rogue. It would be a well-known character for a lot of people. But yeah, I don't necessarily know if I want to go back to the well for Magneto just yet. If they did, I wouldn't mind. Because Magneto is such a presence when it comes to X-Men. Like, how do you do an X-Men movie without Magneto in some capacity? He could just simply be a cameo, but I would not be opposed if he did end up being the villain. But I have a feeling that Kevin Feige will probably want to go another route here. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts and your anticipation level for the X-Men. If you had to put together your X-Men team, what would it certainly look like for this new MCU? Definitely let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section box below. And with that out of the way, Stuart, we got one last topic I want to dive into real quick, because the Lord of the Rings is back in the news. We do have ourselves a brand new live action film that's upcoming. It's going to be coming to us from the minds of Peter Jackson along with Andy Serkis as we revisit a time period in the Fellowship of the Ring, sort of like a parallel story that kind of takes place during the events of the Fellowship of the Ring, and that's going to be The Hunt for Gollum. This film is going to be directed by Andy Serkis, who will be playing Gollum as well in here, but we did get ourselves a massive casting announcement here this week, one that I definitely did not expect, but it seems as though they are gearing up for casting, if not for pre-production right now. I'm not sure when this movie itself actually goes into production. Maybe this article that we read will let us know, but fan favorite Anya Taylor-Joy is in fact set to go ahead and join the cast. Let's go ahead and pull this up, Stuart. This is coming to us from Variety.com. Anya Taylor-Joy to star in The Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum as an elf. Let's see here. It says she is the latest star to join the cast for The Hunt of Gollum. New Line in Warner Brothers is directed and starring Andy Serkis. We also have Ian McKellen, who's coming back as Gandalf. Elijah Wood is returning as Frodo. And we have Lee Pace, who's going to be playing King Thranduil. Taylor Joy joins the standout ensemble cast of a new cast members, including Kate Winslet, who's also joining the group as well. She is set to play the role of Saren. That's Saren, Seren. It says a Sindar elf of the woodland realm, who is described as a trusted and lethal agent of King Thranduil. It says the Hunt for Gollum will premiere December 17th, 2027. So about a year and a half away. I'm trying to see if they have whether or not this is in production as of yet. It doesn't say anything about whether it's going into production yet, but it looks like it's probably gearing up to do so. Wouldn't be surprised if they start filming by the end of the year, just because they do have a year to film and then put this movie in post-production to have it ready for a December 2027 release. Stuart, like I will just say this. I am very much looking forward to this movie. I think if you are going to get Anya Taylor-Joy, I mean, come on, Elf just feels like it's like I'm just going to toss this up to you, like just like a slam dunk, if you ask me. How she's going to be utilized in here as a trusted sort of right hand, as well as an agent. Sounds like she's going to be having a lot of action sequences in here. And I really like Anya Taylor-Joy. I think she's an incredible actress. And I think she's just going to add a lot of value to this series. I am kind of curious if I don't know the story completely from The Hunt of Gollum, whether or not Legolas is maybe a part of this. I would love to see a returning Orlando Bloom as Legolas if they ever went that route. But if we are talking about elves here, give me Anya Taylor-Joy. I can't wait to see what she does in this role. But what about you, Stuart? How do you like this casting announcement?
Yeah, it's getting me a little more intrigued for this movie. I still am a little bit mixed though on the whole premise of the film. But yeah, I don't think I could think of a single like role Anya Taylor-Joy has done that I didn't enjoy. So yeah, I'm definitely down for this casting announcement. I've seen it, she's done fantasy before, like in The Northman. So she definitely knows how to immerse herself in this kind of a role. So I think it's a pretty cool decision.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this choice also. Let me see what's Kiki and Lucas say. Anya Taylor-Joy looks like an elf. Good casting. Kiki and Lucas says the premise of the film is show me the money. Yeah, definitely trying to tap back into that Lord of the Rings money for sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts in regards to her joining the cast of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, hopefully we'll get some more information soon in regards to when production is going to begin. But I'm looking forward to seeing that. But all right, guys, with that out of the way, that will do it for all of our main topics for today. And Stuart, I think you know what time it is.
I do indeed. Now, everybody, it is time for live viewer questions.
And it is, in fact, now time for live viewer questions. Let me go ahead and pull this up here for you guys. Where is my... This has happened to me all the time. I should have been better prepared for this. Hold on one second, y'all. All right, there we go. If you ever want to go ahead and submit a live viewer question over, how do you go about doing so? Well, it's pretty simple. Every Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, I will go ahead and make a post over on our YouTube channel. Just go over to our YouTube channel, as you guys see right over here. You're going to click on this post tab right there, and voila. Live viewer questions dropped 14 hours ago. We got 12 comments. Let's go ahead and sort these out and start knocking out some of these questions, shall we? We got Peg C in the house. On the June 18th episode of John Campia's show, John Campea broke down the massive news that California and New York are teaming up to file a lawsuit to block Paramount's acquisition of WB. He explained how the states are attacking this from both sides, arguing it creates a monopoly and monopsony by limiting consumer choice and leaving fewer buyers to hire Hollywood industry talent. He further noted that if an injunction delays this past October, Paramount has to start paying a massive $6.9 million a month penalty fees to shareholders, which might pave the way for Netflix to swoop in later after already pocketing $2.2 billion breakup fee. What are your thoughts on this? I will say this. Look, this doesn't surprise me. I think we kind of expected the idea that there may be some turbulence in regards to this deal getting done. I do think Paramount and them might still have the power on their side. But I do like this this trying to block this acquisition. I think we've talked about this before, Stuart, that we really are not big fans of Paramount getting this. We were okay with the idea of Netflix, but if we had our choice, we wouldn't even want Warner Brothers to sell in the first place. And I am kind of wondering if David Zaslav has done all of this in a return to just get a bunch of money, but know that maybe this merger between him and Paramount may not actually happen after all. Like this would be a really fucked up money grab by David Zaslav to like put all this in motion only for it not to work out and have to like collect a bunch of breakup fees and things like that overall. So I really don't know if this is going to happen or not. And this is what we talk about when we say, this merger could take up to a year or two to actually even happen, and why I feel like a lot of the decision making for Warner Brothers, I hope a lot of the decision making for Warner Brothers is not held up too badly. I really hope that they just continue with business as usual, because I feel like this could be held up in the courts for quite some time, Stuart.
If I remember correctly, there was something I wish I could find where that article was. I know it was from a reputable source. It was either Deadline or Variety. So I cannot remember which one, but I will try to find it later on. Anyways, apparently he was trying to give himself a big bonus from selling to Paramount. And apparently the shareholders were all able to tell him, no, you're not getting this bonus for screwing all of us over. So he did not end up getting that big bonus he tried to give himself. So it would be cool. I mean, if somehow, because again, like you said, the power is kind of on Paramount's side at the moment, but if this lawsuit were to actually go through, if we could actually stop this merger from happening, there would be so many benefits to this. One of which would be, I'm pretty sure David Zaslav would lose a crap ton of money, either from himself or from the company. And I feel like one of two things could happen. He either, has to pay out of pocket for all the money that he's cost the company, or this is enough of a fuck up to where he's able to get voted out and we get a better CEO, one that actually knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I am kind of curious as to see how this is all gonna play itself out. But you're right. I'm glad you brought up the idea of the pushback that he's been getting in regards to this. Pegs. Oh, this was from Pegsy in regards to the X-Men. Master Mold or Nimrod is one of the villains. That would be pretty dope. Oh, that would be that would be incredible if they pulled that off. Pexy also asks, I watched the Netflix Michael Jackson The Verdict and was disgusted by Diane Diamond's involvement. Why do documentary producers constantly invite her to participate in these projects? She used to host the 90s tabloid show Hard Copy, and she's still pushing the exact same biased negative narrative today. It feels like the media is just recycling sensationalized tabloid figures and completely ignoring the courtroom evidence that led to his total acquittal. It's a hit piece of Michael Jackson when you ask Diane Diamond to participate in any documentary that involves him. What are your thoughts? I have not watched it. I have not watched The Verdict yet. I have been debating if I want to go ahead and check it out, but it it falls in line with exactly what I thought that this documentary was going to be. Just another hit piece. You know, I think it's really evident that during the 90s and early 2000s that like Michael Jackson was like the um like everything to tabloids. I mean, there were like constant rumors and speculation that was always running out there by Michael Jackson. I mean, you look at like The Sun and all these other tabloid type of like magazines. My man was like plastered on the covers of these all the time. The biggest star in the entire world. Of course, that's going to draw attention and sales and stories and people, you know, your way sort of thing. So what better way than to capitalize on his name and just hit piece after hit piece in regards to Michael Jackson. I mean, the fact that the documentary, according to a lot of people, and you're not the first person that I've seen said this, Peg C, just completely ignoring the courtroom evidence in regards to his acquittals, like instead of actually emphasizing his innocence, or like you know, to be fair, I have not watched it for myself. I know the documentary mentioned the idea that they were going to talk to jurors and stuff. So I am kind of curious as to like what the jurors have to say in regards to this. But yeah, just the Diane Diamond involvement alone showcases to me the direction and the narrative that they are trying to showcase here. I really want to just take some time to kind of study the courtroom transcripts myself. You know, I'm sure there's thousands of pages, but there is a curiosity that I have in regards to reading it and finding out the evidence base behind it, and how, you know, what the prosecutors presented, what the defense certainly was, because of the fact that it wasn't televised like that. I think leaves a lot of questions that people certainly have. It's not like they can YouTube it or Google it sort of thing, you know, in regards to actually watching it for themselves. So to be able to kind of put forth your own narrative in regards to those things, I think really murks the water a little bit more than the truth that's out there. So it's really unfortunate though.
Yeah, 100% agree. Like, I think that if we're going to do like documentaries about like certain things like this, certain topics, you got to be honest. You got to like actually want to know what it is that you're, you know, you want to know exactly what it is you're trying to, like whether it's exposed. Sorry, I'm phrasing this terribly. What I'm trying to say is, like, for a docu-series, it should actually be like, if you're making a documentary series, your goal as a person making it should be to learn just as much as, you know, you want to teach your audience. And if you're going into making a docu-series with a very specific agenda, and then you follow that agenda through, no matter what you're given, you basically put your own pieces of evidence together rather than use what's already provided for you in order to, you know, basically stick to the conclusion you already had before you started. That's just unethical journalism, to my opinion. You know, you gotta, if you're gonna do a docu-series, again, you got to be willing to learn you got to want to learn as much as you want to teach.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Kiki and Lucas say Michael Jackson was found not guilty. He's dead now and can't defend himself. These are hit pieces. Yeah, it's a shame that they take advantage of not just his name, but the popularity that he's getting right now in regards to a big time movie out. You know, I mean, just bloodsuckers, man, money suckers right here, just trying to take advantage of the his name recognition that's out there currently. With season 2 of X-Men 97 dropping on July 1st, I'm highly anticipating a breakthrough moment where Scott and Alex Summers finally acknowledge their brotherhood. But going a step deeper, I'd love to see Cable actually map out his wild family tree and realize that Havoc is his uncle. How do you think the show will navigate the legendary Summers family drama in the upcoming season? It almost feels like it's inevitable because we have Havoc that's going to be in this from X Factor. We got Cable in here. I think there's even another version of like Nate Summers like in the future of this series also that they bump into in the future time period. So yeah, I hope that there's a really weird like lineage map that's kind of set out in regards to like who's connected to who and who's related to who. It's always been a really fun dynamic, I think, when it comes to the Summers family. So yeah, I hope it's navigated and talked about in here. Marcelino's got a couple questions. What do you want to see in Sicario 2? To be fair, I don't even think I saw the second Sicario. I was a big fan of the first one. I don't think I ever saw the sequel, though, so I don't really know what to expect from a third one, to be frank with you. Just a great movie. It's really my only expectations, with some great actors. But yeah, I definitely would love to see the second one. I saw the first one, loved it. Never got the opportunity to see the third one, though. Have you seen both Sicario movies, Stuart?
I gotta be honest, I've only seen the first one, and I don't know if it was if I was like really stoned when I watched it, but for some reason, despite it being one of my favorite directors, I cannot remember like anything about it. It's really bizarre. So one of these days I gotta do a rewatch of it, but I have not seen the second one, and I honestly until now didn't even know a third one was being made. According to Kiki and Luca, Sicario 1 is a masterpiece. I will rewatch it for sure.
It was great. Yeah, it definitely was great. I loved it. Let's see here. What else do we got? He also says, you guys have expressed excitement for Mark Guggenheim becoming the showrunner of the animated Firefly series. But would you be just as excited for this series instead if it was Caroline Dries, Phil Klemmer, Kido Shimizu, Ali Adler, and Jessica Queeler, or Robert Rover serving as showrunners for the series?
I don't know who these people are.
Caroline Dries, let's see.
Okay, Caroline Dries was Batwoman. And then Phil.
Here, I'll go backwards and work forwards while you work. So Robert Rover. Who's Robert Rover?
Phil Kelmer. Okay. So Legends of Tomorrow. And then Keto Shimizu.
Oh, Robert Rover was the for Supergirl. For Supergirl 2015, Bionic Woman 2007.
Oh, another.
He was a producer.
Okay, so these are all Arrowverse producers then. Okay. So okay, I see. Because it was Mark Guggenheim, kind of like the one who started the whole Arrowverse. So the question is if we would be excited with these other Arrowverse producers. Yeah, to be honest, probably like I think I'd be excited regardless because it's Firefly and you have the whole cast coming out. I don't think I'd be as excited if I heard these names over Mark Guggenheim, just because I got to give credit where it's due that he started this whole thing. Yeah, I mean, nothing against the other showrunners that you list here, but yeah, I don't know. They don't have that legacy that Mark Guggenheim kind of set for the Arrowverse. Same with Greg Berlanti.
Yeah, I would probably echo your sentiments also. Although some of them I might. Carolyn Dries, who was that? You said that was Batwoman. Robert Rovner was Supergirl. Who did you say Phil Kilmer was? Klemmer was Legends?
Oh, Klemmer was Legends, yeah. And then I think same with Keto. I think she's also Legends. When I'm looking her up on Google, the thing that comes up is Crisis on Infinite Earths, which I feel like that was everyone.
Yeah, Allison Adler, Ali Adler, looks like she was also co-creator on Supergirl as well. I think Mark Guggenheim for me just is more appealing because I've seen him produce a vast swath of things that I've been really a big enjoyer of. Them as individuals probably not so much, but the idea that Mark Guggenheim and what he's done showrunner wise and writing and producing wise, I'll probably put a little bit more trust in regards to him.
Yeah. And then also in the comments, Marcelino mentions like the showrunners we talk about all the time are Todd Helbing, Mark Guggenheim, Eric Wallace, and Andrew Kressenberg. I think that's because, like, for me anyways, their impact on the shows that they ran were the most fascinating, specifically when it comes to the Flash showrunners, because I feel like despite the fact that Todd Helbing went on to make the greatest show in the Arrowverse, even though it technically was Arrowverse adjacent, it is so weird that he's also the guy that kind of ruined the Flash. Not ruined it, but he's the one who, when he took over, the Flash really started to go downhill at first. And then Eric Wallace is just fascinating because it's like he just took the show into a very weird direction that, like, sometimes when it worked, it was great. And then when it didn't work, it was so bad. It was like bizarre that it was written, or, you know, the same person was in charge of it. So I think that's why those are the ones that we talk about the most. Whereas like the other showrunners for the other shows, it's just, you know, their individual impact doesn't stand out to me personally quite as much. Anyways.
Marcy also says, a couple months ago, you said that when it comes to the backlash of people not liking Supergirl acting like a flawed drunk girl, yelling bitch movie, what? Bitch move, yelling bitch move. You said you wouldn't want Supergirl's personality to be, man, I can't do anything Superman can do because I'm a girl. I don't wait. Hold on. I'm losing track here. Hold on 1 second. A couple of months ago, you said that when it comes to the backlash of people not liking Supergirl acting like a flawed drunk girl yelling bitch move, you said you wouldn't want Supergirl's personality to be, oh man, I can't do anything Superman can do because I'm a girl, or no one takes me seriously because I'm Superman's cousin, and I wish people would take me more seriously. And the reason why you said you didn't want that is because you would consider that bad writing. But how would you feel if a writer took your personal gripes and problems and wrote Supergirl or some other female character in the way that you were opposed to, but the only difference is they had the intention of her being well written and fully realized character in an effort to prove you wrong? Because there are many people who argue that there's no such thing as bad ideas or bad characters, only bad writers, and that any stupid and silly idea could be well written given the right writer. Plus, the goal of a writer is to prove your haters wrong. I don't know if that's the goal of a writer, is to prove your haters wrong. I would hope the goal of a writer is to actually write a good story instead of worrying about what people say. But
I think what it was is like, I think I just, you know, articulated it really poorly. What I probably should have said is that, like, I've seen those tropes in bad writing before. But yes, initially, like, any idea can be written good, depending. It's really all about the execution. So you're definitely 100% right on that. I think where my mindset was is like, I've seen these ideas done before, and the writing, when those ideas have been executed, haven't been as good as, or haven't been that good. And with this version of Supergirl, it just seemed more unique, more intriguing for me to, like, you know, check out, because it's like new in certain ways. And it's you know, it goes on tropes that you see a lot of times in like male characters, but you don't really see it in female characters as much. So I think that's like why I'm really interested in this direction that they're taking with Supergirl.
Shout out to also Kiki and Luca real quick with the $1.99 super chat. Happy Father's Day. We really appreciate that, Kiki and Luca. Thank you so much for supporting the channel in that way. Always coming through on a weekly basis for us. We really do appreciate it. Let's see here. Tony Robinson with a couple questions. Do you guys think the Supergirl slander is ridiculous? Yeah, I usually think most movie slander is kind of ridiculous. If I'm being honest. Real quick, Marcelino says, well, James Gunn proved his haters wrong, and Jack Schaefer, who worked on Agatha all along, proved her haters wrong. Yeah, but that's not their intention. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like they're not writing it to prove people wrong specifically. They're just literally writing. And if it just happens to prove people wrong, then it happens to prove people wrong. But it's not their goal, right? Their goal is, I got these characters, I got this story. I just need to write something great. And the fact that they're capable of doing that, and then it just so happens that it happens to prove some of their haters wrong. That's the intention. It's not the intention of, you know what, today I'm gonna write a great series that's gonna prove my haters wrong. I really don't think that they really at all think about it that way, if you ask me. Do you think so do you guys think Supergirl slander is ridiculous? Yeah, man, I find any slander kind of ridiculous. I just feel like they only come out at certain times of the year, you know, when it's either a female-led role a black led role, or heaven forbid a mainstay character that just happens to have a mindset that they don't necessarily agree with. That's this, it's got to be too woke or whatever the case may be. I'm surprised that they didn't say He-Man was woke in any way, shape, or form. But I do think that the reason why there wasn't a lot of He-Man slander is I think it was probably enough homosexual references for some of these closeted, conservative incel men to feel like seen and actually, be appreciated on the big screen. That they're just like, we're not gonna have a hit piece on Masters of the Universe. It makes me feel comfortable.
It's secretly tugged at their heartstrings, and they don't want to admit it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I love it.
They felt at home with Masters of the Universe and all the references in that film. But when it comes to Supergirl, heaven forbid, that we have. So I don't know. It just drives me crazy. It really does. I don't like it.
Heaven forbid a woman have a beer for herself instead of always having to give it to her boyfriend,
Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, it is kind of ridiculous. But they only come out at certain times of the year. And I think we know what those times of the year are. Since the news of 24 Jump Street, do you guys think Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum have been the last good comedy duo we've had?
Can't remember, man. What are some duo comedies we've gotten since 22 Jump Street and now?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm now looking up buddy comedies just to get a little refresher.
I don't know why the Rock and Kevin Hart come to mind. With their stuff that they've had for Jumanji and a couple of the other movies. I actually really enjoy their combination together.
Ooh, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent was also another good one with Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal. Yeah.
But yeah, that's like a one-off though.
Of
like duos that are pretty funny together. That's why Dwayne and Kevin Hart come to mind. I can see the Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill combination. I'm trying to think if we've had any other big combinations like that though. I would say the Wayans brothers, but they just came back with Scary Movie. I haven't really seen them do much of anything together recently.
Yeah, I guess not in recent years. I think that they probably are the best comedic duo we've had in a while.
And The Rock's not even a comedian, but yeah. But I will also.
Oh no, I'm referring to Channing Tatum and
Channing Tatum in them.
Like, yeah, I think those two might be because like Dwayne and Kevin have done a couple of things together, but I don't really think of them as a duo in the same way.
Yeah, I get you. How do you guys feel if Hasbro collaborates with Power Rangers YouTubers to pitch an idea for a season? Didn't they already try and do that with that kids web series?
Oh, Ninja Kids. Yeah,
wasn't that I thought that was Hasbro collaborating with Power Rangers YouTubers.
I wonder if he means the like Power Ranger YouTubers that like kind of review the show and then also like kind of just talk about it, give their own, or like some of the people that have done like Unworthy Productions. Like I love their stuff. I haven't kept up in a minute, but yeah, there's like so many really good Power Ranger fan content out there. So I would love to see what that would look like, because this is them just making it, with pennies, with whatever scrap money they have available. So I would love to see what some of these filmmakers could do if they actually had like a Disney budget or something along those lines.
Yeah, that would be pretty epic to watch. AJ the Morphin Grid, did Chase Into Space borrow from the 1995 film? The 95 non-canonical Power Rangers the movie. First saw Ivan Ooze infiltrate the command center, shatter Zordon's energy tube, and strip the Rangers of their powers. This exact sequence of events was mirrored years later in the canonical Power Rangers Turbo finale, where Divatox forces invade the power chamber, shatter the energy tube, and completely destroy the building. However, while the 95 film quickly restores the status quo by restoring the suits and resurrecting Zordon, chasing the space left the second generation Turbo Rangers completely powerless and forced to flee Earth, setting up the events of In Space. Given how closely the destruction of the Rangers Sanctuary and the attack of their mentor's tube aligns across both stories, did Chiplin intentionally borrow their high stakes finale from the big screen movie? I don't think so. I feel like I also saw the same thing kind of work itself out almost for Zeo. It almost felt like an ongoing joke at that time of like their Rangers base always getting destroyed, always losing their power, or connection to either Zordon or their power source in general. So I don't. It doesn't feel like to me that they borrowed it from the 1995 film. It just feels like we just continue to get trapped in this. Let's just destroy the command center kind of trope type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think it was? You think it was pulled from the movie?
I think man, I'm trying to remember. In Zeo, did we get to see like the inside of the base when it got destroyed, or because I know you did in Turbo. I can't remember if that was in Zeo or not, because I know that in Turbo you see the destruction on the inside, just like in the 1995 movie. So I'm going to say that yes, I think they did take at least some like kind of inspiration from it. I mean, during Turbo, like the viewership, I'm sure it was a little bit better like halfway through the season, but it was still like not what it used to be. So I feel like they probably needed something. So I could imagine them kind of looking back at the movie and going, hey, we should do that. But, on the television screen.
Yeah, you might be right. You definitely might be right. Let's see here. What else we got? My friends call me Joseph. What are your thoughts on the Michael Jackson biopic? Also, have you seen the miniseries, The Jackson and American Dream? If so, what do you think is better about one over the other, and what similarities do they share? I mean, I think because it's a miniseries, I think the Jackson and American Dream really gets to focus on Michael Jackson's early life and character moments a lot more in depth, whereas the Michael Jackson biopic I think felt more like a cliff notes of Michael Jackson's life, with a lot of stuff kind of omitted in between. I mean, he was such a iconic person in the world that he just had so many incredible moments to his life that I can imagine any Michael Jackson biopic having a hard time trying to put that all into one film. It's why if I had any complaint about the movie, I felt like it was too short. I really could have done with like a 3-hour Michael Jackson biopic and probably ate it up and loved it just as much. So I do think one of the upsides that the miniseries had was more time to really explore the truth about Michael Jackson's upbringing and his moments with his father and his family and things like that. But I also do think the Michael Jackson biopic also showed other sides and other moments that I really wasn't necessarily aware of, in a very sort of people-friendly, crowd-pleasing type of experience. I think for the first Michael Jackson biopic, this worked out really, really well for them. If they do a sequel, it'll be interesting to see the route that they go in that regards. But I do think the miniseries benefits from being able to tell a story for a longer period of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I haven't seen the miniseries. But yeah, as for the movie, I think that it's definitely a crowd pleaser kind of film. Didn't really, I think that I think to sum up my review of it when we talked about it is that I think it was just a little too much on tropes for it to stand out as a crowd pleaser. And then as a biopic, I feel like it left a lot out. So I think that because it went this middle ground, I don't think it did either one particularly well, but I still, enjoyed it for the most part. And I do think it was very well filmed, especially in direction and sound.
Marcus says many fans say that the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift is the most underrated entry into the franchise, serving as the final installment strictly focused on culture of street racing. It is often contrasted with later films where the series transitioned from grounded automotive stakes into high-octane superhero heists that defy the laws of physics. While the earlier movies anchored themselves in reality, the shift under Vin Diesel's leadership brought a completely different cinematic energy to the saga. Do you think the franchise would have been boring or stale if it remained grounded, or was that transition to global spectacle a mistake?
I think I don't think it would have gotten boring and stale per se, but I also don't think it would have grossed as much I don't think it would have grossed as much money in the box office as it did. And I also don't think the franchise would have gone on anywhere near as long as it has if they didn't like jump the shark in the I'm trying to think if it was the fourth or the fifth movie that jumped the shark. I guess the fourth movie was when it started, because that did have the scene where Dom gets shot and he literally like barely flinches from it. Like he gets shot in the shoulder and he's just like, the hell did you do? He basically gives you a look like you insulted him rather than actually, freaking shot him.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, no, I would agree with your sentiments. I don't know if it would have gone boring and stale, but I do think that they switched gears, no pun intended, like at the right time of the franchise's longevity, because it did allow it to continue to go on and on and on and make millions upon billions of dollars at the box office. So I definitely don't think I would ever view that transition as a mistake. It probably eventually, definitely did eventually jump the shark. But I would almost say that this is like, with the name recognition and the type of money this movie's making at the box office, and knowing that people are legit just going to come out and see any Fast and the Furious movie regardless, I think this might be the time to now change course again, Stuart, and maybe bring it back a little bit more
Bring it back to its roots.
Bring it back to its roots to go ahead and for the climax for sure.
Oh man, I agree 100%. Like that would be a perfect way to like end the franchise, like bring it all round it all
full
out.
circle. Yeah,
full circle moment. Next movie, that's what they should go for.
Jack Villanueva says, with Marvel Studios firmly pivoting to Doctor Doom as the central threat for Doomsday, the future of Kang the Conqueror remains significant point of fan speculation. How would you feel if instead of abandoning the character entirely, Marvel brought in a new variant of Kang the Conqueror in Doomsday, and which actor would you like to see take on the role? Furthermore, would you be surprised if Kevin Feige secretly brought Jonathan Majors back as Kang, perhaps as a controversial move to offer a second chance despite the legal troubles that led his initial departure? I am how would you feel if instead of abandoning the character entirely, Marvel brought in a new variant of Kang the Conqueror? I don't know. I just feel like if you're going to bring in a variant of Kang the Conqueror, we've seen so many variants from Ant-Man and the Wasp at the finale that it almost feels like that variant would also be Jonathan Majors. I just don't know. So my thing would be, you either completely scrap the Kang the Conqueror storyline, or if you do, you secretly bring him back for like a 5-minute, 10-minute sort of piece in Avengers Doomsday to kind of write him off completely. I wouldn't go the route of a new actor for the variant. I'm trying to think if we've seen different variants of Kang in the MCU at all, or if it's always been Jonathan Majors.
It's always, even when you got the stadium of Kang the Conquerors, every single one of them had even the CG ones that weren't even human had his like obvious likeness like kind of scanned onto them. And yeah, I know it. So in Marvel in general, we've seen many actors within the multiverse played by different actors. I mean, we see all three versions of Spider-Man all together. So it would not be out of the realm of possibilities for for a King the Conqueror that isn't Jonathan Majors, but it would be funny though if that's the route that they went, only because they went out of their way to show, again, this was a full stadium. Everyone had Jonathan Majors' face in there. So it would be funny with all of that. You suddenly get a King the Conqueror, and he's just like, hi, I'm the variant of King that isn't played by Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, I mean, so my thing is like, if you are just writing off King the Conqueror, just either don't. I don't know. Like I don't know how I would feel if Jonathan Majors popped up for like a brief 5-minute cameo and him being off by Doctor Doom. There's a part of me that's just like, it feels kind of fitting, based off of what Jonathan Majors has kind of done, to be like, all right, we're gonna kill you, bro, and then just kill him off that quickly. But I think Marvel is probably gonna take like a firm stance of like, we're just not gonna touch this with the 10-foot pole at all. We're just gonna continue the story like nothing ever happened. Maybe there's a reference here or there, or maybe there is a shot of like a King the Conqueror, but maybe it's either recycled film that they've utilized before in the past, or you just don't necessarily see Kang's face, but you see his demise by the hands of Doom or something like that. I do think there's other ways around it without necessarily having to bring back Jonathan Majors, honestly. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Jessica Fryman, when do you think we get the trailer for the new season of King of the Hill? And if the Aang movie does well on Paramount Plus, do you think they will consider releasing it in theaters one day? No, I think once it's released on Paramount Plus, I don't think they're going to do it in theaters. This movie's already kind of been leaked online. I know already, Stuart, several people that have watched this movie. So the idea of taking it into theaters, I think, is null and void now. But I mean, even if it does release on Paramount, I don't think they're going to release that first and then be like, hey, it's gotten such great reception, we're going to put it in theaters. I think those days are done.
Yeah, no, I if this was a Sony movie or a Netflix movie, then yes, I would actually think that the high viewership would lead to a theatrical limited run, because they've done that with K-pop Demon Hunter. But I don't know. I don't see Paramount as being the kind of company to admit when they make a mistake. So I don't see that happening. Man, dude, the situation with the leak is just absolutely hilarious, because it's gotten the entire internet kind of rethinking their stance on piracy. And I think the very interesting like argument is that like studios, and I don't mean the writers, I don't mean the directors who work on these projects, I'm talking studios, are no longer allowed to use the moral card when it comes to this kind of stuff, because we're not taking money from most of the artists that worked on this. The only people that are losing money from like this kind of stuff going leaked nowadays anyways, especially when it comes to streaming shows, it's the studios themselves that are losing money, not the individual like artists, basically, because their commission is kind of mostly paid up front nowadays, and the viewerships that they get on their websites, they or you know, like if it's through Netflix, is so sorry, what's it called when an actor gets royalties, that's it, yeah. So the royalties they get from Netflix is so low that like less viewership would barely impact like how little they already make from royalties. So it's like when it comes to studios, like I don't want to hear them saying it's wrong, you know, you shouldn't pirate because it is wrong. It's like, no, what you guys do is fucking wrong. But obviously when it comes to, you know, I don't think you should necessarily I don't think this like necessarily justifies piracy, because you even have people that worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender, some of the artists that said, no, this is not how we wanted the movie to be seen, and that kind of stuff. So it's like I do think that there's an argument for both sides, but I think mostly it's just that when it comes to the studio, they do not get to play the morality card.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Alan Fernandez, what's up, Alan? In Smallville, Clark Kent had several romantic interests, including Lana Lang, Chloe Sullivan, and eventually Lois Lane. Given Clark's superhuman abilities such as heat vision and X-ray, it is often humorously suggested by fans that he could have navigated his romantic life in some unconventional ways. Out of all the relationships Clark had throughout the series, which one do you feel was the most significant to his development into Superman? You know, it's funny this question was brought up. I don't remember how me and the girlfriend got on this topic the other day. But we were talking about some of Clark Kent's love interest from Smallville. And I think we were talking about like crushes, like TV crushes that we had at early ages. And she said, like, yeah, you probably like that girl from Smallville who played Lana. I was like, oh, Kristen Crook. Or I was like, oh my God, yes, dude. Like, she was so fine. She was, and we both looked at each other and we were like, why he would even go for Lois Lane? Like, I have like, and no disrespect to Erica Durant, she's beautiful, but like, my God, dude, like Smallville, Lana Lang was like the finest. Like, ain't no way no Lois Lane's gonna come across and take my eyes off of Lana Lang. Ain't no way. So yeah, that's probably the most significant, I think, to his development as Superman is easily Lana Lang for me.
I mean, not only is she beautiful, but like in high school, she owns her own business, like her own like freaking coffee store, because she was able to convince a billionaire, I can keep it going, and that was enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, that takes some skill. So yeah, I could definitely, honestly, it's a CW, so like every actress you get on any CW show is going to look gorgeous, because they go for looks over talent. Not to say that they're not talented. I'm just saying that is what the CW itself looks for before talent. They just happen to look for good at looking actors, and if talent comes from that, awesome. But yeah, talent is not the CW's goal. So obviously, like anyone they hire on Smallville is going to be good looking.
We also got Marco Parco here. The X-Men animated series is widely regarded as the definitive adaptation that masterfully captures the complex social themes and character dynamics of the source material, often outshining the live action films in terms of narrative depth and the ensemble balance. While the films have had moments of success, I believe integrating iconic animated story arcs would provide the grounded and emotional stakes that the cinematic universe sometimes lacks. Given the rich history of the show, would you like to see a live action adaptation of the Dark Phoenix saga, focusing on a more nuanced portrayal of Jean Grey, or perhaps a different character driven narrative? You know, in regards to that, you know, them adapting Days of Future Past for X-Men, I think led to one of the best X-Men movies that we've certainly had, up there with the X2 movies. So them diving into story arcs, iconic animated story arcs, or just story arcs from the comics, definitely a smart route to go. But would I like to see a live action adaptation of the Dark Phoenix saga? No. I'm over it. I'm over it, bro. We've had enough cracks at this fucking story that nobody can seemingly get it right. I just think
Well, to be fair, it was the same person both times who wrote it. So
that I mean, look, you're right. Was that Simon Kinberg? Yeah, it was Simon Kinberg, wasn't it? Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, I don't know. I just think Dark Phoenix saga is such a big story to tell. It's like your whole trilogy has to be a Dark Phoenix saga. Like, you've got to plant seeds in the first two movies to really make the payoff for a third one impactful. And for some reason, they always want to like tell these stories in the vacuum within one movie. I mean, maybe, you know, X2 got us a really cool tease at the end of the Phoenix is coming, but then you get a whole X3 The Last Stand that just tries to tell so much of a story within such a small amount of time, and I just don't think you can do it. I just don't think the Dark Phoenix saga can be adapted unless you're really going to adapt it into the entirety of the trilogy. And so for me, I'm out on Dark Phoenix saga. I love the character, don't get me wrong. I love the nuanced portrayal of Jean Grey. I just don't want to see it anymore, Stuart. I'm over it, bro.
Yeah. I wouldn't want, like, I wouldn't mind them planting the seeds for it. But yeah, obviously very much like kind of the point I made with Sinister, although this is for a very different reason. I don't want to see this anytime soon. I do think there is a third time's a charm, you know, kind of thing that could happen with this. But yeah, definitely don't want to see it like anytime soon. I wouldn't mind them planting the seeds for it early on, but this should not be their main focus, at least not yet.
Yeah, no, I agree. Alex Ramirez, interesting couple of questions. I will say this. I will certainly say. First question: what are your thoughts on people who film mukbangs, eating food in front of camera? Do you ever feel jealous when watching people eat, or does it make your mouth water? I think it's a really cool ASMR type of content. My girlfriend used to watch a lot of mukbangs. I don't know if she does anymore. It really, it doesn't make me jealous watching the people eat, but it does make my mouth water just a little bit. Like sometimes I'm cool with it. Sometimes I'm like, I just don't want to watch other people eat. Like I'm really particular about it. Like sometimes I don't want to watch people just slurping up their food and stuff. Like that's cool, but I just can't sit and just watch people eat. Like I can't do it. But sometimes, depending on the food, it does make my mouth water a little bit. But sometimes I'm kind of disgusted at all the slurping and shit. I'm like, please eat with your mouth closed, please.
If it's like just a still camera and you're watching someone eat, no. But if it's like what you'll see, for example, on the Food Network, like, okay, one show I used to freaking love was Man versus Food. And I especially I especially love watching that show when I'm hungry, because then, yes, that's when I get those mouth-watering moments.
Yeah.
That's when I gotta eat something. Same with the movie Chef. Like, anytime I see someone eating a Cabano on that movie, oh my gosh, it is. But so that being said, yes, I do kind of get what the appeal is. I can't do it if it's just a still camera and one person eating. That's just not appealing to me. I'm like, this is boring as hell. But if it's part of a narrative or something like that, then that's when I get the I gotta eat now.
Yeah, like if it's somebody like traveling to different destinations and they're trying different foods and you get to watch them eat the food and things like that, that I'm like, I can watch that all day. I'm always fascinated with them because they usually explore like the culture and show you how the food's made before they eat it. You know, mukbangs is very much just stationary. You just seeing them put their food together and just eating it in front of you, and I'm just like, yeah, I just like, please wipe your mouth, close your mouth when you're eating, please. Like, it does make my mouth water at times, but sometimes it doesn't work for me. And then Alex says, what are your thoughts and perspectives on donating sperm? Why do people do that? Probably for financial reasons. I'm sure you probably, I don't even know how much money you could possibly make from donating sperm. I don't care if people do it. That's perfectly fine for them. I'm sure they do it for their own financial reasons. I don't know how I would feel about like my own little person running around somewhere else that I'm not even necessarily aware of. So I probably wouldn't necessarily do it unless I'm really down on my luck financially. I mean, women donate their eggs also, but I don't know. I think it's more of a financial reason that people have for donating sperm than more of an enjoyment of it. But yeah, I don't, that's the only thing I could think of. But it's to each their own. Whatever they want to do with their own sperm, man, is their business. And I mean,
yeah, I imagine it's like Uber in the sense of like it's good to have as like a job on the side, but it's definitely not one you can rely on to pay your rent. But I don't know, because obviously I've never done it before.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to how much I might have to Google that. How much do you make for donating sperm? Nathaniel, this episode is getting demonetized so easily for sure. Nathaniel, what are your thoughts on the animated film Transformers 1? How did it differentiate itself and succeed with the live action films, ranging from the original Michael Bay movies to Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast fell short? You saw Transformers 1, right? What do you think about that?
I freaking loved it. I think
How did you think it differentiated itself?
Definitely. Okay, in a few ways. One, definitely with the target audience, I guess, because like, even though like Michael Bay claims that he wants his movies to be appealing to little kids, let's face it, his real target audience is kind of frat boys. That is his actual target audience. This one wasn't really aimed at frat boys. This one was aimed at like, kids. And it was also definitely a movie that, even though it was going for a younger audience, it took itself serious enough when it came to its story. And there's just a lot more sincerity that you get with this than you got with the Michael Bay movies. I freaking loved Megatron in this movie. His turn to the dark side, the way it happened. And I also loved the way it kind of took established lore from the Transformers comic books. It didn't completely copy it one-to-one, and instead went its own direction with that lore. And it's too bad that we're not going to get to see any follow-ups, because I think this was a perfect kind of prequel movie, for the Transformers universe as a whole.
Did it not do well at the box office or something?
No, it didn't. No? Unfortunately, this was, I think, one of the worst Transformers movies financially. I think, man, I gotta blame that though. When it comes to that, I gotta blame that on the marketing, because the trailers did not look appealing at all. Those were some really terribly put together trailers. And they chose like just the most generic scenes from the movie that does not represent the overall quality that you get from it as a whole. So if I were to blame any reason for why that movie didn't do well, it was, and I don't want to say the person who edited the trailer, not them specifically, but whoever is in charge at the studio of giving the trailer editors the very specific footage, because the footage that was given to the people that edit the trailers was just the dumbest, most generic footage from the film compared to like the film as a whole picture. They went with the most boring, generic jokes, the less inspiring moments in the movie, rather than giving like the moments that really stood out from the movie. Like you're kind of, and I'm not saying every moment, obviously you don't want to like show too much in a trailer, but you got to show at least one like epic moment from the movie, or one joke that's like actually funny from the movie in the trailer to get people hyped. But yeah, sorry, I went on a long rant there.
No, it's okay, because I do remember people saying after watching the movie, like, this is not the film that the trailers sold you on, that it's like so much better than what the trailers really showcase. So yeah, it could have been a marketing disaster too. But it also, this also goes back to Masters of the Universe for me too, in the sense of like a movie that's really well received by critics and audiences, that literally is like lined up for Paramount to do bigger things with Transformers 1, whether it be from a streaming service point of view, but just because of how it didn't make money at the box office, it's just like they're just throwing it away. Additionally, what would you like to see in future entries, whether animated or live action? I just want a plan at this point. Like, I don't even necessarily have like a direction that I want Transformers to go. I just want like a writing room to come together and literally map out the next 2 or 3 Transformer movies that you want to make, and make them. Like, I just need a plan, because everything feels so just like it like its own thing, and that's cool, but I really want my Transformer movies to build upon each other and move towards a direction that everybody is on board with. Rise of the Beast didn't necessarily feel like a natural sequel to Bumblebee. It felt like it wanted to take little bits of it, but still create its own cinematic world around it to make you question, like, did Bumblebee even happen? Is that even a part of this movie or not? But now, them teasing the idea that we're going to get a G.I. Joe Transformers movie, but now we've got like 4 or 5 different writers trying to come up with the Transformers script. It's just like, I just need a plan. Like, just give me a plan and I'll be happy. That's all I need.
Yeah. I think that like Rise of the Beast was like such a great way to like kind of play. I guess they kind of started with Bumblebee. I think Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast were like a perfect way to like set a new status quo for the future of Transformers movies. So personally, I just want them to pick up where Rise of the Beast left off and try to move on with the franchise from there, but like just ignore everything before those 2 movies, because honestly, like, I feel like Bumblebee itself and Rise of the Beast both kind of fit in their own universe. It's really hard. Like, you can fit Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast together in that universe, but it's really hard to fit those 2 movies into the established Michael Bay universe movies, which already those movies in themselves have so many contradictions. So it's just like, I think the smart move, if you want like a clean slate and a clean continuity, is to just pick up where Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast left off. Because from there on out, then, all you got to do is like actually remember the scripts that have already come before, and you're good to go. Something that like the Transformers Michael Bay movies couldn't even do.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, guys, that will do it for all of our live viewer questions here today. So thank you, everybody that certainly participated. A couple other comments. Kiki and Luca say Supergirl is now tracking 39 million to a low 40 million. Yeah, I think originally it was tracking for like high 50 million or 60 million. So they are saying that the tracking has kind of taken a dive. I haven't even looked at ticket sales, honestly. I thought the pre-sale tickets for Supergirl were really positive for DC. So why the downward trajectory, that I really have no idea. I might have to look up some Supergirl tickets and see what like the seating and availability are like for tickets for opening weekend. I want this movie to be successful. I'm still going to hold my breath in the idea that I do think that this movie makes anywhere between $400 to $500 million. But I think that at least that's the direction that the DCU would feel more comfortable with, because I think on average, I think right now comic book movies are making anywhere between like 325 to 375 million on average. So I am kind of hoping Supergirl surprises many and has a good word of mouth and really draws some eyes for sure. But so I'm a little bit bummed that it's having a low tracking as of right now. But I will say I do think marketing could have been better. I do feel like they are at least starting to hit their stride now. It might be a little too late though. Because I haven't really cared too much about marketing, but it does feel like after Masters of the Universe dropped, they have been trying to really push Supergirl kind of into the mindset of like the next big summer movie. So they have a couple more days to certainly try and do that. I don't know how much that'll turn things around, but I think Supergirl is really going to end up relying on word of mouth to be as successful as it is. So we'll see how it comes together.
Mm-hmm. So it's just got to be good.
It's just got to be good. Pexy says the marriage of Lisa Marie should be talked about in the sequel. I would like to see that for a sequel in the Michael Jackson biopic. Kiki and Lucas says Kristen Crook still looks good. Yeah, she does. I saw her at a recent maybe it's probably been like 2-3 years since I've seen her at a convention. She was out here at the Dallas Fan Expo with, I believe, Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody looks great from the cast. Everybody aged really well, if I'm being honest. But yeah, guys, that will do it for today's show and all of our live viewer questions for today. So we really appreciate you guys tuning in to us each and every weekend. We do have plans on being back next weekend for you guys, so certainly look forward to that. We still plan on doing a Let's Talk Movies episode tomorrow. We will keep you posted. I'll see if I can get the opportunity to check out The Death of Robin Hood tonight. And we'll kind of go from there. If anything, Stuart, we'll certainly talk about Toy Story 5. But we'll definitely let you know if we've got a couple other movies on the docket for tomorrow. So we'll definitely aim to see you guys tomorrow afternoon. And then we should have more content for you guys throughout the week. I am going to try and rewatch. We did drop all of our reviews for Spider Noir. Episodes 1 through 8 are currently up on our YouTube channel. If you want to hear my thoughts on Spider Noir, let me know. I may do one more rewatch of the series in color. Before I do want to do an entire series review for Spider Noir with you, Stuart. I might even see if I can get Will involved in that too. I know they talked about it on their Scene and Nerd episodes, so I would love to hear his perspective on this series too. So maybe we'll try and do a series review overall. But we'll definitely keep you guys posted. How's that sound for you, Stuart?
I'm definitely down.
But yeah, other than that, guys, we might have some videos throughout the week, so definitely look forward to that if any big news or big trailers drop that are worthy of talking about. But if not, we'll definitely see you guys back here next Sunday live at noon Central Time. Stuart, if people want to find you on social media, where can they find you, sir?
You guys can find me at TurboStew01 over on Instagram and Letterboxd.
And you can find us everywhere on social media as well. If you're on TikTok, over here at Hero Report. I would also suggest at APlus Opinions on Facebook. We keep our Facebook page updated on a daily basis for you guys, whether that be exclusive news, breaking news, casting announcements. We even post posters, trailers, featurettes, and stuff. So we post everything on a daily basis, and then we take 6 topics from there, and we talk about them here on our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, so anytime we drop brand new videos, you guys will certainly be notified. But that will do it for us here this week. We'll certainly see you guys next weekend. And until next time, do us a big favor, as always, guys. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.